everyone. I hope you are doing well today. Morning for me, but evening for some of you. Uh, oh, and Tristan has wished me a good stream. Excellent, excellent. Uh, it took me 5 minutes to figure out why I could not get it to say. I was trying to ping the zetamath announcements over on the Discord where I announce when I start. Uh, and I had typed hashtag zetamath announcements rather than at zetamath announcements, and it would not work for forever because I had the wrong grammatical symbol. So, but now it has all been fixed. So I hope everyone is doing well. Oh, I realize I can actually switch over to this now. You don't have to look only at this. You can see Zach's friends behind me here to support. He has a large fan base, as you can tell. And we get words. I know words, I swear. And we get to start with a JayForty puzzle. We've not done that many JayForty puzzles, but they've all been excellent. And I recall in particular this one JayForty snake puzzle, this JayForty Snake Fog of War puzzle that I think really sort of set the tone for a lot of other puzzles that have used similar logic afterward. That was very, very cool. So anyway, so this is the most voted on puzzle as it currently sits. So the people who support the channel get to vote on what puzzle we start with. And this puzzle has been voted for by Woofer, Doomdiot, Luda, Russ, Directionary, David, and DDX. We are still in the process of getting everything in the studio set up. As it turns out, there's a lot of house things when you house. But soon there will be strip lighting. There'll be a blind on this window, so I will no longer look like I am being lit from the heavens. And there'll be some sound panels so that I don't echo quite as much. So there are many exciting things planned to get everything all set up, but it's not quite all set up yet. But hopefully this is a tolerable sound quality for now. Dorlear asks if I'm somehow related to math. Yes, I am a math professor, and I actually started on YouTube, on the channel youtube.com/zetamath, where I post sort of expositional videos about the zeta function and the Riemann hypothesis. So if you want, you can see a lot of math content that I've made. Well, some math content that I've made. We tend to produce like hour-long videos for that channel, so they tend to come out like every 6 months to a year. We're maybe going to try and produce half-hour videos so they can come out a little bit more often, so that we can maybe sort of finish the story before someone proves the Riemann hypothesis. But we'll see. But that is the other channel. It's youtube.com/zetamath. I can post it in the chat. But yeah, so I started doing that before I started doing the Sudoku thing. But then got into the Sudoku thing, and then that sort of turned into a whole thing. So okay. So let's have a look at this puzzle by Jay. So we have a bunch of 4x4s together. Flagrante must be. So, sorry, David is telling me in chat that the puzzle I submitted for the Cracking the Cryptic book took Simon 2 hours and 15 minutes to solve. Excellent. I look forward to seeing that. I really enjoyed that. Did he talk about that at the beginning of a video recently or something? Mentioned it the other day. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I am glad he succeeded. That puzzle definitely, it's an insane puzzle. I am not surprised to hear that Simon took a bit. I'm glad he made it through, though. But yes, so the puzzle, I'll say the puzzle involves two snakes that cross each other, so I called it Flagrante because I knew that since it involves snakes, when Simon recorded a video of it, he would likely make assorted British jokes about snakes and touching your snakes and snakes touching themselves. And so I thought having snakes touch each other would make it extra exciting for him. Uh, so uh, so anyway, so hopefully there is a lot of snake related humor in the puzzle. I think it will be fun. Uh, but it was very much like I tried to find something that I thought would like really vibe with the sort of Simon specific genre of thing. Although then I wondered, I also thought it would be funny if then Simon made Mark be the one who did it instead of me, but or instead of Simon. But I've not seen the most recent puzzle. I guess Mark and Simon did vignettes together, and Mark solved my puzzle for the CTC 500 pack for what I always say is the 500th anniversary of CTC, and then occasionally realize that it's actually not that; it's actually the other thing. Uh, but anyway, I did see Mark solve my puzzle for that because Simon was the one who tested it, and that was interesting. And but yeah, the Mark was actually the one who started solving my puzzles on Cracking the Cryptic. So my first three Cracking the Cryptic features are all Mark solves. Uh, anyway, journey through the Zeta past. So let's look at this JayForty puzzle. So we've got, it looks like 5 mean minis that overlap each other. So yeah, so each of these is a 4x4 Sudoku that uses 4 of the digits 1 through 9. Thank you, Jay, for making it 1 through 9 and not 0 through 9. And so each area can use different digits. Digits along the green line have to differ. Sorry. Digits along the green line. This is the green line. Must differ by at least 5. So traditional German whispers rules. This is a Renban, which means they are a string of contiguous digits in any order. These are a ratio of 1 to 2. These sum to 10. So that is all of our stuff. So a lot of people are noting that this grid, because this contains 4 consecutive digits, so just the fact that there's a 4-cell Renban in this grid at all tells me it contains 4 consecutive digits. I'm going to throw that there unless someone has a better suggested bet tree, but I'm going to just throw it here. Hey, Karen, how are you doing? Good morning. So just the fact that there are 4 consecutive digits in here, if the lowest digit was 3, that would already be too high because of 3, 4, 5, 6. The lowest 2 digits that could go on this arrow would be 3 and 4, and that already sums to 7, which is more than that. So I know that in this grid, my numbers are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. At most, and there's definitely a 2, a 3, and a 4 inside this grid. And so this is a 3, 4, or 5. There's a lot of coloring I can do. I don't know how much this is going to help, but this red cell definitely goes here because it can't repeat on the thing. This red cell definitely goes there. And so therefore this cell, if I now go into blue, it has to go there, which means it has to go there, which means it has to go there. Let's see, so this is now not involved in the blue business. So the last digit is blue X. Let's do blue X last. So that's blue X. That's blue X. That is therefore red circle. Therefore, that's red circle. Let's see. So, so we now have to think about what is red circle consecutive with? Let's see. Red circle and blue circle differ by either 1 or 2 because of the fact that they're on this 3-cell Renban together. The one that's not on the 3-cell Renban live by the red circle, blue X, die by the red circle, blue X, I guess. Blue X is the one that's not on this 3-cell Renban. Doesn't immediately tell me anything, though. So this is either red X or blue X. Oh, and it also goes here is an interesting thing, right? Whatever this digit is, the point is it also goes here. And so it's consecutive with red circle. That's the key. So I'm gonna give this a color just to make clear what's going on in quotes. These two are the same digit. And so that digit is consecutive with red circle. That tells me that blue circle is 1, and we have our first digit. So let me give you, or let Zach give you the famous one dance. Ba-ba-ba-doo, woo! Ba-doo-ba-doo, woo! Ba-doo-ba-doo, woo! Ba-doo-ba-doo, ba-doo-ba-doo, wah-ha! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. So yes, so that certainly means that there's no 5s in this grid anymore. It is just 1 through 4. I can place all the 1s. And so no more 1s for you in those places. These are certainly a 2-3 pair. And so blue X is 4, we have learned. Is one of the things that has happened. This is a 3 or a 4. So yeah, so these are not 4. Spoiler. So this is 2 or 3. We know that. Ooh, Danita has gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Danita. Let me get you a donation dance and let's see who gets them. Woohoo! 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 Thank you so much, Danita. Let's see. Danita has gifted 5 memberships, and they have gone to Liz, Jalib, Amy, Thomas, and AM1028. So thank you. Thank you so much, Danita, and welcome and enjoy your memberships, everyone. You get your fancy Zach emotes now. And your green name and your windmill and everything. So welcome to all my new welcome to all the new fans. Thank you so much, Danita. That's awesome. Sorry to have missed you the last 2 streams, but hopefully you enjoy today's stream. You're in here right at the beginning, so lots of time to enjoy. I don't think there's anything else I can sort of do in this grid at the moment. I probably should think about other grids and then come back here. So an interesting thing is this X only has 2 possible options. Oh, I hope none of the wood ticks ended up on you. That would be unfortunate. Oh, actually, I don't think 4-6 is even possible. Right? So the thing I was noticing was there's only 5 versions of an X in general. It can't be 1-9 because I can't put 9 on a black dot. It can't be 3-7 because I can't put 7 on a black dot. So it's either 4-6 or 2-8. But I think 4-6 is going to have a problem, isn't it? No, it just works. Because because I'm noticing whatever these 2 digits are, they also go here. If I make this 4-6. But let's see. So if this is 4-6, then this would have to be 3-8 up here. This would be 3-8 down here. Yeah, 4-6 having 3-8 sounds fine. What if this is 2-8? If this is 2-8, then these are 1-4. And so this would be a 2 or an 8. This would be a 1 or a 4. Oh, yeah, 1-4 just doesn't work because it goes down here. Yeah, this just doesn't work. This immediately doesn't work. Yeah, so the thing that I was noticing here, yeah, is with the 4-6 and thinking about 4-6 wasn't going to work because these things weren't far apart. This doesn't work because it forces these to be 2, 8. Sorry, it forces these two to be 1, 4, but then where did the 1 port go in this box? They go down here. That doesn't work. So yes, so thank you, chat, for pointing that out. I thought about it in the other way, not this way somehow. So these are 3 and 8. So this is 3 or 8 for sure. And this is 3 or 8. These are 4 or 6. This is 3 and 8. This is 4 or 6. This is 4 or 6. These are 3, 8. So 3 and 8, we've actually learned, are both digits in this grid, in the center grid. Which kind of, but not really, suggests that this should be a 3, but we'll see. So we can do a similar markering up with this this whisper. So let's start with yellow. This yellow digit, it's not 5 away from itself, so it goes there in this grid. Dorlier, the reason is if this was 2, 8, which is the only other option, the other two digits are 1, 4, but then those 1, 4 would be here. And 1 and 4 aren't 5 apart, is the problem. This digit can be, we'll make this one orange. Sorry, yeah, orange is not a good high contrast color. We'll make this one purple. This circle can't go here because these two are opposite high-lowities, so it goes there. And so if I now make this an X, that goes there. If I make this a yellow X, it now goes here. So I now know that this digit is purple and this digit's yellow, because purples are either both high or both low. Yellows are either both high or both low. To make that work. So I guess the thing I know about these two cells is they're either both high or both low. And I know one of them isn't 3 or 8. Which is actually, if you combine those two, tells me absolutely nothing. I can also mark up this arrowy grid. So let's continue our marking. We're going to go into a green circle this time. That green thing there is going to go there for sure. So this one goes there for sure. Oh, this one, if I look at this, oh, I've already used that color. We'll use gray. This one, it definitely goes there, because it can't go in the circle. And so, hey, Memerister. And so, because of that, the green circle we know actually goes here, which means the green circle goes here. If we look at that, we can make this gray X if we want, but I do know that this is definitely even. And we've got all these, so all of these are even. That's a very good spot from Carl. This digit has to go in column 1. It's in one of those two cells, and these two are both the same high-lowity. So that 3, 4 goes in one of these two cells, and so it goes in one of these two cells, and so my yellow cells are low, and my pink cells are high. Now, actually, I can say quite a bit more about this cell, because this cell is next to that 3, 4. And so 6 and 7 don't go next to 3 and 4. So only 8 and 9 go next to 3 and 4. Now, I don't know which is the 3, 4. I just know one of these two is the 3, 4, and this one is next to both of them. This one, chat's pointing out, I get the freebie. It's not a 4 because of that. Hey, Selena. I hope you are doing well. So we've got all of that going on. Row 7, column 5. I mean, I know that these are from 1, 2, 3, 4. I know this one isn't a 3. I don't know it's not a 4, do I? Oh, this one is 3 or 8. Right. Ha ha ha. Yes. Got it. Yes. So these are a 3-8 pair. And so therefore this one is 3 or 8, but it's also 1, 2, 3, or 4. So therefore it is 3. Thank you, chat. Unknown what the tree could possibly be. But I know that this is a 3. And so that 3, if I look over, I know it goes here in this box. And now, where does the 8 go? Because I know there's an 8 in this grid. Where does that 8 go in this box? Well, we know it can't go here, but it also can't go here. So the 8 goes there, for sure. I do know that this is a 1, 2, or 4. Oh, it's not a 1, actually. I do know that this is a 2 or a 4. To figure this out. So let's see. Yes, this 2-4 goes below the bet tree is a very good point, because this 2-4 needs to go here somewhere. And we know it doesn't go on the bet tree, so this is a 2 or a 4. So these are from 1, 2, 4, for whatever minuscule amount that is worth. So I know one of these two is 3. What's wrong with this being 3, Medhi? I believe you, I just don't see what's wrong with that. Selena also believes there's a 4 in white. I do not yet understand why, but I believe it. Let's see. Oh, the green grid tells me, right. The green grid tells me because in the green grid, one of these two is a 4. That's the point. And so one of these two is definitely a 4. Now one of these two is green X. Let's see. So that tells me that green X... Well, what's the smallest green X can be is 3. So this digit is 3, 4, or 8 are the only options for this cell. Because it's at least 3, but it also appears in the center grid. And we know that the digits that appear in the center grid are 1, 2, 4, 3, 8, some combination of those. And this can't be 4 because green circle I know is even. I said this before, but I did not mark it, and of course I then immediately forgot it. Green circle is even because it's the sum of 2 gray circles. But I can't have an even digit on a sum to 4. So in fact, it can only be 3 or 8. intriguing. Seems unlikely that it's going to be 3, but maybe it can be 3. Let's see. So what else can we do here? See, these two are the same digit. Is there any way that I could use these two being the same digit? Hey, 11 tickles. Well, I do know green circle isn't 8. So green circle is certainly 2, 4, or 6. And so gray circle is therefore 1, 2, or 3. And I actually have... Do I know that green circle for sure isn't 4 for some reason? Carl knows that green circle is not 4. I don't yet know why green circle is not 4. Oh, because it's a part... If a green circle is 4, it would need 2 4s to sum to 8. That's adorable. I like that a lot. Okay, so yeah. So if green circle is 4, you'd need either a -1 or a 4 here in order to get to 3 or 8. And both of those have slight problems. So these are never 2. And so if this is a 2, then this is a 1 or a 6. And if this is a 6, then this is a 2. So there's always a 2 in one of these two cells, I guess, is the punchline there. I can certainly make this gray X and just chase the gray X down here, at least a little bit. Like that. And so this is the gray circle. This is the gray circle. Did I do that wrong? Oh, it could be gray circle. You're right. You're right. This could be gray circle. Right, right, right. No, no, no. Yeah, I did something wrong. So now, Carl is pointing out that this being a 4 is very problematic because of the arrow. If this is a 4, it would go there, which would now again make this cell need to be a -1 or a second 4, neither of which would work. So that's where the 4 actually goes. So that's a 4 over here. Agree with that. So, yeah, so we know we've got a 4 in the grid. Yeah, that 4 does not see into blue, sadly. We see far, but not quite that far. So yeah, there's a 1 or a 2. Trying to see if there's some similar cute thing with one of these being 4 breaking in this box, or one of these being in 4 breaking in this box. Hey, Chip. Hope you're doing well. Row 3, column 9. Right. So we write through all the possibilities. So if this is a 2, that would be a 1 or a 6. But it's not a 6 for a reason we'll say in a second. And if it's a 6, this would need to be a 2. But the point of JLib is this is not a 6, because if this was a 6, it would put a 6 in one of these two cells. But that would put a 6 in white, and there is no 6 in white. So this is never a 6. Interesting. Oh, good luck to Chip's neighbors with his new guitar. That means we don't have a 3 in either X or green circle. Yeah, we noticed a bit ago there's always a 2 in yellow. Uh, if there's a 3 in green or gray X, where does 3 go in the yellow grid? Isn't this the yellow grid? I'm being told I can place an 8 here. So if this is a 3, it would force X to be a 3, which would make that a 3, which would make that a 2 and a 1. I don't quite see that yet. Column 4. But 8 can be in yellow. If 8 can't be in yellow, it's a very big realization, but I fear that it can. I probably should actually look at things like what this pair can actually be, but I kind of don't want to. But row 6, column 8 is 2 or 3. Let's see. Okay, we're being told that this is 2 or 3. So we know from looking at this box that this digit is 1, 2, 3, or 8. It's not 8 because it's in a row with an 8. So it's always 1, 2, or 3. It's not... it's not something. It's not 1 because 1 doesn't go in these two cells. And if this is a 1, I would be obligated to put a 1 in one of those two cells. So this is 2 or 3. So we've got that. And so this is 1 or 2, right? Because we've got an 8, a 4. And then we've got an 8, a 4, a 3, and a 1, 2. So this is 1 or 2 only. Let's see. People are, I think, doing a pretty complicated look ahead here with what happens if something around here is a 1. I'm trying to find a nicer way to do this. So 3, 1, 2 is one combination here. So that's a 3, that's a 1, and that's a 2. In which case, that's a 1 and a 1, and that's a 2. Oh, this could be 3? I see. This could be 3. Yeah, this could be 3. I don't know why I didn't think it could be 3. Yeah, you're right. This could be 3, of course. I mean, this digit's definitely 3 or 8, just by that. Okay, let's see. Dykes is row 5, column 8 is a 1. Then that breaks. So that would make this 3, 3, and 6. Would make that a 6 and that a 2. Okay, yeah, so... Ugh, that's gross. I feel like, given how nice the rest of this puzzle has been, that's not the intended spot. But it does work. So there's probably a good parody argument about this, because this is not a good argument. But this can't be 1, because if it is 1, it simultaneously does 2 things, which is to make this 2. Well, I guess the way to say this, if this is 1, this is 2, and now there's no place to put 1 in this box. And so, oh, Nico has become a turbine. Welcome to the turbines. Let's get you a turbine dance. Woo! Woohoo! Waha! Woohoo! Thank you, Nico. Thank you. Woohoo! Thank you so much. Welcome to the newest member of the turbines, Nico. Thank you, Nico. So the upshot of all of this is that this cell can't be 1. I think. Because that can't be 1. So this is a 2. And this is not a 1 either. That is a 2 or a 3. And this cell, which can be a whole lot of things, is this is 1, 2, 3, or 8, is the things that this can be. But it's not a 1, because there's no 1 in the grid. So it's only 2, 3, or 8 is the point. Also removes 1 in the red grid. That's true. This is no longer able to be 1. Okay, so that not being able to be 1 seems very relevant. So the point is that this weird thing with 1s is going to have an impact on our German whispers, because now there's no 1 in red, because these are both of the low digits in red. And if neither of these is 1, that's certainly not a 6, at least. So that's not a 6 either. That's not, these aren't 1 either. This is 2 or 4. So this is, 7, 8, or 9. How is that gonna be helpful? Oh yeah, yellow circle I know isn't 4. Michael's pointing out if I just copy this pencil mark over to here, yellow circle is not 4. How is this helpful? Let's see. Yeah, so that's at least 8 or 9. Column 4 of white has a 2. That's true. One of these 2 is a 2. And so Selena's point is that this digit's a 6. 2, which makes that a 2, and that an 8, and that an 8, and this a 3 and a 3. So that's a 3. So that's a 2. That's an 8 and a 3. That's a 2. That's a 2. It's an 8. That's a 3. Yeah, I feel like there was probably a better way to do this. Because the way we did this was a mess. But we got a bunch of digits out of it. And I will take the digits. So that is a 3. So all of these are 3s. All of these are 2s. I'm being told that 4 is 1 plus 3, funnily enough. That is a 2. That 2 looks down there and makes that a 4 and a 2. It's going to be a little tricky to figure out what the bet tree is later, but we'll figure it out. 3 and 8 go in. So that is 3 and 8, which makes that 6 and 4 and 4 and 6 and 4 and 6 and 8 and 3 and 3 and 8 and 6 and 4. Now this has got to be a 3 because it's not a 4, and this is the 4. 4 only goes next to 9. I was thinking by uniqueness that was going to have to be a 4. So my Naverio senses were good. There is a 9. That's a 4. This is an 8, since 8 is the only other thing that can go next to that. These are an 8-9 pair. Sorry, that's a 4, I should say, actually, just by Sudoku, which makes that a 9, which makes that an 8. That's still an 8. That's a 9. That's an 8. And last but not least, we have the bet tree, which seems to be an 8. So congratulations to all the 8 bettors in the world. May all your betting tree wishes come true. So thank you. Thank you very much. I loved that, Jay. I'm curious if there was some way to look at this last little bit, because every step was super smooth, except that one was sort of a little weird. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it didn't feel sort of in spirit with the rest of it. And also, welcome to the turbines, Nico. Thank you. Thank you so much for the support. We really do appreciate it very, very much. So welcome. Thank you. I'm going to take a real quick break. And when I be back, we'll have more puzzles. So see you shortly. Alrighty, welcome back. We've got a Playmaker puzzle up next. So we have a Playmaker Killer German Whispers puzzle. So I think all standard rules here. So the digits in the killer cage have to sum to the given total. Excuse me. In fact, actually, everything else appeared in the last puzzle. These need to be a string of consecutive digits of some sort. This one has all the digits, though. That's the major difference between this and the previous one. These sum to 8, string of consecutive digits, sum to 12. And here we have to remember that digits can't repeat in a cage, even if they otherwise could. So that digit can't go there, for example. So I think that is what we have. Alrighty. So, well, we know these digits are going to be high. They're going to be from 6, 7, 8, 9. So, can this really be 7, 8? Maybe only just. Yeah, we should put a bet tree down. I chose very poorly for the previous one. I don't know if anyone noticed, but you could have determined what the bet tree was before the end of the puzzle in the previous one. So we'll try and do better. I'll put the bet tree there this time. That's a good point. Yeah, so neither 1 nor 9 is on this line. Because if 9 was on it, it would break the 15 cage. And if 1 was on it, it would break the 8 cage. Because I know there has to be a 1, 2, 3 on this line. So... And we also can't put 8 on here either. And we also can't put 8 in the 8 cage. So 8 and 9 are sort of forced into this tetromino, we could say. And now... Yeah, so now we've got to sort of ask ourselves about various combinations. Like, so now really this is from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we need to make sure whatever I do with the 8 cage doesn't break every possible way of making this work. And so if I make this cage 3, 5, then that is going to leave me with not enough digits here. So this is not 3, 5. It's either 1, 7 or 2, 6. And if this is 2, 6... then immediately this has to be 3, 4, 5. And so Garion is then looking at the 2, 6, reading down here at what happens. Oh, 7 doesn't work either, Russ points out. So 7 also doesn't work because 7, 6, 5 would still put too many high digits from here. Good. So this being 2, 6, Garion says would break this, because if this is 2, 6, then these become 3, 4, 5, and 3, 4, 5 are... I need one of those to make the 12 cage work. Yeah, so if this is 2, 6, it's amazing what's in a 2-star puzzle these days. If this is 2, 6, these are 3, 4, 5, and now there's no way to make the 12 cage work, because if you look at the ways to make the 12 cage, I can just show you they involve a 3, a 4, or a 5. So this can't be 2, 6. So, oh yeah, sorry, it would be 3, 4, 5 or 7, 8, 9. But both 2, 4, 5 and 7, both 7, 8, 9 also work. So yeah, so this is not 2, 6. This is 1, 7. This Renban definitely involves a 4, no matter what. These digits are now from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as well. Several people pointing out that once I know the 7 is here, it's not here. So this is actually a 6, 9 cage. I can get rid of the 9 corner marks, and I can remove some 8 corner marks. So there's either a 7 or an 8 or a 7, 8 on this line, depending on how this line is feeling. Right. And so now there's no 6 on the Renban, right? So there's a 3 and a 4 on the Renban, for whatever that is worth. Well, it does tell me, the fact that there's a 3 and a 4 on the Renban actually does tell me that this is not a 3-4 cage. Because if this were a 3-4 cage, I would not be able to put 3 and 4 on there. So that actually does tell me something. So this is now either 1-6 or 2-5. If it's 2-5, the 2-5 goes here. Let's see. Can I get you a link? I can, I think. One moment. Copy. Paste. There we go. There is a link to the puzzle, and I can pin it. Okay. So one. Yeah, so you need a 7 or an 8 or a 7 and an 8. Now, if I put a 7 on this line, it only goes next to 1, 2. So there's never a 7 at the center of this line, at the very least. But I could maybe put a 7 here, a 1, 2 here, and an 8 there, and that might be okay. So yeah, this being 2-5 is interesting because it puts a 2-5 there. It's being 1-6, I don't know if is interesting yet. Might or might not be. Let's see. Yeah, I don't quite know yet. Okay, let's see. Are there any of these other cages that do something interesting? Yeah, 9 in column 1 is definitely down here. I agree with that. There must be an 8 on here. Right. That's okay. So Amphirio has the natural conclusion of the string of nonsense I said, which is that I can't not put an 8 on this German Whispers, is the point. If I don't put an 8 on this German Whispers, then I can only put a 7. It has to go in the middle with a 1 and a 2 on the sides, and that does not work. So there's always an 8 on this Whispers, which puts an 8 there. Sorry, which puts an 8 there. Which then puts 8 down here somewhere. And now it's been claimed this can't be 4-8, right? Because there's a 4 on this Renban. And so now the point is that because I can't put an 8 in the 12 cage, now the only place for 8 in this box is here. And so we get some high digits and a low digit. This is a very impressive puzzle. No surprise to anyone who's done a Playmaker puzzle before. This is 1, 2, or 3. So there's an 8 down here as well. So just to remind ourselves, this is either 3-9 or 5-7. Okay, so what are we to do? So 9 is going in this box somewhere. Is it true that 9 can't go here? Because if this is 9, then these are 8, 7. Is that a problem? Right. That's not going to work because that digit's high. And so I can't have two high digits in a 12 cage. So this is not a 9 either. So the 9 is definitely in one of these cells. So the 9 is in one of these cells. Because this is at least 6. So therefore these sum to at most 6. So these are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the way I guess I can phrase that. And so therefore these are up to at most 7 in order to make that work. Let's see. Yeah, that's a really smart point from Jay Dyer. If this is 5, 7, it rules 6 off of this, which would put both 6 and 9 here, looking up at that. Or alternatively, you could phrase it as, where is this 6, 9 in box 4? If this is a 6 and it's in box 4, then there's a 6 and a 5 on here, making this a 3, 9. Or if this is a 9, it puts a 9 over here, making this a 3, 9. So this is 3, 9 either way. Take your pick of which way you like your deductions phrased. So that makes that a 3. So that has made that a 6 and that a 9. And so now this cannot be 1. It could be 2. It can't be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So this is only a 2. People are pointing out very snazzily. So we've got that. So this is a triple of some sort. 2 of the things in it are 8 and 9. And the other is a 3. Oh, so this is roped. Weird. Zach roping emotes in the chat for all the roping fans. This is a 1, 2, 7 of some description. Let's see. This is unable to be a 3. 9 in this row now is actually restricted to only these 2 spots, because since I can't put an 8 on this Renban, I can't put a 9 on it. Oh, we never got a digit dance. Oh my, what was our first digit? Is our first digit this 3? No, our first digit was this 8, I want to say. Sorry, Zach. Apologies. I don't want to violate your contract. Ba-boop-ba-doo! Woo! Ba-doop-ba-doo! Wow! Ba-doop-ba-doo! Wow! Ba-da-ba-doo! Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da! Wow! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Apologies. Zach usually taps my shoulder when I forget. Oh, sorry. This is 1, 2, 7 down here. This is 4, 5, 6 down here. So that 9 is interesting. Could the 9 go in the 19 cage? I don't see any reason why the 9 can't go in the 19 cage, unfortunately. Now that 4, 5, 6 over down there is pretty interesting, actually, with this. Because it means that I have to not make this identically 4, 5, 6. Can this really have a 7 on it? Can this really be 7, 6, 5? Because if this is 7, 6, 5... I don't immediately see what's wrong with this. I don't know what total this is. This is something to 13. Oh, right. It's not... There's definitely not a 1. So we're down to that combination, because if there's a 1, it would be 1, 2, 3, which would certainly break that cell. Garion is pointing out, I think, that if this is a 3, now this would be an 8, and then this would need to be 1, 3, and that doesn't work. So this is never a 3. Agree with that. there's always a 4 or a 5 on this Renban. Possibly a 4 and a 5. I don't know yet. No 5 in the 12 cage. Ah, right. Because if there was a 5 in the 12 cage, then it would go with a 1 and a 6, but that would also make that a 1. So a very similar point from MicroStudy. And if there's no 5 here, that caps out 7 from being over here. Because now we go 4, 5, 6 is the most we could possibly do. Very clever. And this can't be 9 because it would make these a 1, 2. So this is 6, 7, or 8. Only. Let's see. So if there's an 8 in the middle, then these are a 1, 3 pair. Is that a problem for someone? I don't think so. Oh, I also have 9 pencil marked in the box already. That's a good point. Jaleb is saying that makes the 7 cage a 2, 5. I don't yet see why. Oh, because the German whispers, yeah, so what is the 8 next to? Well, 3 can't be the only low digit on this whispers. 4 can't be on this whispers at all. So if there's no 1 on this whispers, it's a 3 in the middle, and that doesn't work. Is there a better way to phrase this? This way I'm phrasing it as terrible. Because I agree with the conclusion I need a 1, but I am not phrasing it in a way that is healthy. Okay, so so I guess there's a case argument that's not too bad. If 8 goes in the middle, these are a 1, 3 pair. If 8 goes here, then there's a 7 there, and there's a 1 in the middle. So I don't like it, but there's always a 1 on this whisper. So these are not 1 and 6. I suspect there's a more generalizable way to phrase that I have not yet seen. This is not a 4 or a 2 and a 5, or a 2 or a 5. This is a 1 or a 6. Okay, so interestingly, this being a 1 or a 6 means these are never 1 or 6. Because it's either going to go exactly 1, 2, 3, or it's going to go 6, 5, 4. Those are the only options. And welcome, Tall Cat. Oh, and it's not a 1, because we just argued that there's a 1 on this whisper, didn't we? That was the whole point. So that was the whole discussion. So we actually get that. No 4 there. That is a 6. These aren't 6. So these need to sum to 8. So that's certainly not an 8. That's certainly not a 3. So those are a 1, 2 pair, which has made this a 5 and this a 2. Like that. Let's see. Oh, did I not do the row 6 Renban correctly? It's possible I screwed something up when I entered this. So these 2 digits are not 4, 5, or 6. Is there always a 4, 5, or 6 in a 13 cage? No. MicroStudy responding to a null comment, but I don't see the null. Oh, sorry, null is Carl, isn't it? So Carl's point is if this is a 7, that doesn't work because then these would need to add to 5. No, these would need to add to 6. But I can't do that without 1 or 2. So this is no longer able to be 7. Oops. You're able to be 7. And so the important part is I can make that blue. Yeah, the fact that this Renban, Russ is highlighting the thing that I've been trying to use for a long time that I have not quite been able to do, which is that this being a 4-5 is pushing this Renban to split down the middle. So it's either going to be 2, 3, 4, or it's going to be 5, 6, 7. So there's only sort of 2 options for how this is going to work. I've not yet figured out how we're going to resolve which it is. But I guess there's always a 4 or a 5 one here, so I can at least pencil mark these cells. I can at least pencil mark these cells with what they can be, knowing that they're never 4 or 5, which I guess I already knew from the box, so it's not an exciting deduction. Sadly. What is this cage? Oh, this cage is summing to 19, so that's not a 1. I need to adjust the, what is it, like large digits off is what makes me able to actually see the total. There we go, large digits off. Oh, I have a 1-2 pair. That is an easier way to see it, I agree. 2, 3, 4 breaks row 6. If this is 2, 3, 4, then that's a 1 and a 7. Yeah, why don't I have 6 in here? Is there a good reason why I don't have 6 in this cell? I think 6 is supposed to be a candidate in these cells. We'll just get rid of that and just not think about it anymore. Because I think I removed 6 from here, and I think I accidentally also removed 6 from here. So I don't think that actually works. So I think I screwed up a pencil mark in there. Which is unfortunate. Let's see. Can 8 really go in here, maybe, is a good question. Would have to go with 2 things that sum to 5. That's probably fine. Let's see. 13, yeah, it's going to go with some stuff. But who cares? So let's see, I can break 8 here, because if I put an 8 here, it would need to go with 1, 4, I guess. Because if this is an 8... Right, if this is an 8, it doesn't work, because I need to make 5 in these cells, and neither of them can be a 4. So it would have to be 2, 3, but this one can't be 2 or 3, so it does not work. So I agree. 8's not in this cage, so 8 in row 4 is just here. Because of the fact that you'd need to make 5, and there's no way to make 5. So agree with that. So what about 7? Can I really put 7 in this cage? If I put 7 in this cage, then I would need... No, I can't put 7 in this cage either, because there's no way to make 6, because I've got 4 and 5 looking at it. So 7 can't go in this cage either, and so 7 in this row is here, which makes these blue. These can be orangified, by the way. That can be blue, and these can be blue. That's blue. That's orange. So now, 9 going in this cage would require a 1 and a 3. That seems acceptable. So, right. 9 here doesn't work because it would require a 1, 3. And the problem with that is that cell can't be a 3. But if I put a 9 here, these can't be 3 either because of that. That's Jaleb's point. So no 9 goes in here. So in fact, that's a 9 and that's 3. This is becoming... We're getting somewhere now. Because now what can these actually be? These can actually now only be from 1, 2, 3, and so therefore I can't have a 2 on this anymore. Because if I did, then it would be 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., and then that would break, that these would both have to be 1, and I can't put a 11 in that cell. So therefore now, because of the 4, 5, we can't, now that these can't be 2, sorry. So because this can't be 4, 5, I now can't put 3 or 4, and so this is now 5, 6, 7. We at long last have gotten to the thing that people were getting. I think the way we figured it out was better than the sort of the chainy way, because I don't think what we did was chainy. But we've got that. So what is left in this row? It's just a pair, right? Well, not if I don't resolve. Oops. 1 and 2. 3. Oh, this one's not 6 either. Okay, so this is a 3 or a 9. So now these are quite restricted. So they're not 9 anymore. They're not 1. That one's not 2 either. Yeah, so these are a 6, 7, 8 triple. Sure. There's definitely a 3 in here, just because of the row. And so this is either 1, 3 going with 9, or 2, 3 going with 8. So that cell's always an 8 or a 9. If I have done my math correctly, which is optimistic. If this is a 3, I would need these to be a 7, 9. If this is a 9, then I would have... Oh, 9, funnily enough, would not go with 5 or 6. It would have to be 7. Wait, I think 9 here just doesn't work. I think 9 here works with nothing. So if this is a 9, I can't have 2 5s. If this is a 9, then this being a 6 would make this a 4, but 4 would need to go next to a 9 on the Whisper. That doesn't work. And if this is a 9 and a 7, I would need this to be a 3, but I thought that didn't work for some reason. Maybe that does actually work. Yeah, I think that does work. I think I just did math in my head wrong. But funnily enough, this is always a 7, because we just said if it's 9, that's a 7. If this is a 3, that has to be a 7. So weirdly, yes, we proved that this is always a 7, because if this is a 3, these have to be a 7, 9 pair. So yeah, weirdly, I can't imagine that that was an intended observation, but who knows? This is always a 7. And so this is either... Oh, so this is all... These two are always a 3, 9 pair, is the point. Weird. Weird. Okay, and so... yeah. So that's not a 9. Uh, if this is low, it's a minimum of 3, so it'd have to go 3, 8, 1 exactly. But I don't know if that's broken. There's always a 2 on the green line. Yes, there is always a 2 on the green line. That's wise to note. There's a 2 there and a 2 there, so JLib notices we always get a 2 in one of these two cells. So 3, 2 would go with 8 in the middle. Or 9, 2 with 7 or 8 down here. I guess we've always got an 8 in one of this mess of cells, right? Yeah. One of these two cells is always high. That's high. That's high. One of these is high. This can't be high anymore. So that actually forces these to both be low, because I've actually got a virtual quad of my highs in this column. So that resolves which of them is 8, because it's not the blue one. Now 8 goes with 1, 2, and 3, but 2 is gone, so it's 1 and 3 only, but there's a 1, 2 pair in this column, so that's the 3 and that's the 1, as we've been trying to make happen for... Well, I've been trying to make happen for a long time, at least. I have gone back to this whisper over and over and over again, because I realized there were only a few possibilities. So these are 4, 7, 9. That one's definitely not 9. Oh, and by our virtual tuple, it's not 7 either, because remember, we've got all of our highs going in the row. So this is 4, making that blue, making both of these orange, making this blue and this orange, like that. That's low. Okay, so... Oh, yes, we should make 5s green for Casey. Sorry, Casey. We had been neglecting our duty of greening 5s. There is a 6, 7 pair in box 5. That's a great point. So I can make both of these orange and make this an 8. So now... Oops. So now the high digit down here is a 7. So this is a 2, 7 pair. But I can't put a 7 in the middle, because 7 would have to go next to a 3. And 7 and 3, as much as it sounds like they're far enough apart, they aren't. As I often bemoan. We'll do a puzzle someday where it'll be like German whispers except 7 can go next to 3. People will love it. It will be very popular. 2 and 9. So we've got all of that. And so now Michael has a beautiful spot. No, because in Dutch whispers you can also put 2 next to a 6. 2 and 6 don't sound 5 apart. 3 and 7 though sound 5 apart. But that's a beautiful spot from Michael. This sees 7, 8, and 9, so the only high digit it could be is 6, except if it were 6, these would both be 1s. So this is always low, and these are both high. Michael was all over that. That's a 7, that's a 9, that's a 6, that's a 7. So that's a 1 now to make the cage total work. How many of you are super impressed? I noticed that I could do math in this box, because you should be, if you have watched me much. And so these are now a 2, 3, which means I can do math to make that an 8. These are both low. Let's see. These are a trip of some sort. 1, 4, and 9. Even Mark can identify what triple it is. Excellent. Good job, Mark. This is a 6 or a 9 only, so it's not a 3 in particular. This is orange, despite me not coloring it properly. Let's see. Okay, so we are noting that there is no 7 in this cage. There is no 9 in this cage. And there is a 1 or a 2 in the cage. So we're down to these options for this cage. Oh, but there's no 5 in it either, because the 5 in this column actually rules that out, so we can rule that out. So this is either 2, 3, 8, or 1, 4, 8. So it always has an 8. Oh, it doesn't have a 3 either. Because of that. So it is always 1, 4, 8. So that's the one. And these are 4, 8. I think Garion had a much smarter way to see it, which was to ask what odd digit went in the cage. And note that that odd digit was never coming from this column, because this column had all of its odd digits gone. So if we'd have marked that this column had left only 6, 4, 6, 8, then I think it would have made life easier. Yeah, if I'd have marked it first, it would have made that much easier. Totally agree. So no 6 goes there. There's some random digits. There's a 7 over in one of these 2 cells. Yeah, I was amazed the other day when Simon was solving Reef. Simon was positively reckless with how much pencil marking he did by Simon standards. This is a 7 or an 8, so this is a 1 or a 3. There's no 7 in this 15 cage, for what it's worth. That does not seem to do a lot for me, as these things go. Let's see, but I don't seem to have any clues left, so I probably should do some Sudoku of some sort. But that's going to be difficult for all of us. Row 7, column 1 being a 3 would break row 7. Oh, sorry. This being a 3. Right. Okay, there we go. This being a 3 makes these 3, 8, which breaks that cell. That is very true. Good spot, Garion. I like that. So that's a 1. So now there's no 1 in here either. So that's not a 1. Let's see. This isn't really restricted, is it? Oh, row 3 Sudoku is a good idea. Let's do row 3 Sudoku. So this is a 9, and this is a blue. So that gets us a little bit more coloring. So now that makes this a 6. Which goes back and makes this a 4. It's this orange and this blue, and it's a 9 and a 1. Makes this green for Casey. We love you, Casey. 5s are gone there. Now I can mark in these cells and see that they're both blue. Da-dee-dee-da-dee-da. This is not a 6 anymore, so therefore this is an orange 6. There's no 6 in this cage anymore. So this is either 2, 4, 9, 2, 5, 8, or 3, 4, 8. Those are the possibilities. Okay. It has a 9, I am being told. Oh, people have done Sudoku, which is very wise. So if you do Sudoku, it's much easier. As soon as there's a 9 in it, then the 9 needs to go with a 2 and a 4. And so you know that that's not the 9, that's not the 2. That gives me a Jovi wing on 4s, which looks over and makes that a 5, and that a 4. And makes that blue, and that green. This isn't a 5 anymore, so it's blue. That takes 2 out of this cell, so that makes that a 3, which makes this green. And makes that blue. 5, 3, 1. Makes that an 8. So that is a 9, and that is a 3. Yeah, I love the pencil mark checker. The pencil mark checker is really cool, and very. I think lets us sort of spend more time on the important parts of the puzzle. 4 and 7 go in the grid. Makes this a 2. Also, the fact that this is rated as 2 stars in difficulty is insane to me. So 4 and 9. Orange and blue. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, is it 3 stars now? Oh, it was 3 stars the whole time. I just misread my sheet. Okay, 3 stars feels right to me. 8 and 5. And orange and green. So 6 and 5 and blue. Oops. No. Don't restart. Don't restart. It's a little late to restart the puzzle. And our bet tree is going to be orange, and it is going to be a 6. So congratulations to all the 6 bettors out there. May all your betting tree wishes come true. That was really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. As with so many Playmaker puzzles, everything was incredibly precise and intricate, and very well put together. There's like almost this really perfect symmetry between everything, but not quite. But still, very very beautiful grid and very beautiful solve path, as one has come to expect from Playmaker puzzles. Alrighty, I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with another puzzle, Shock of Shock. So I'll be back in just a moment. Alrighty, welcome back. Next up, we are going to do the next of MicroStudy's series of trying to come up with increasingly insane Fillomino variants. So let's try this. What is this about a CTC video game? Someone, I must have missed something in chat. So let's read the rules, then we can look at the example if we need to. Sudoku Gourmet. What is Sudoku Gourmet? I'll have to have a look. Is that what Simon was streaming the other day? So we have game by Weecock. Oh, okay. I'll have to have a look at it. Oh, it's a CTC feature themed video game. Oh, interesting. I will have to have a look at this. We have Fillomino except for 5, which is a delightful rule. We need to divide the grid into orthogonally connected cells, such that no two regions of the same size share an edge, unless that size is 5, because pentominos are allowed to touch, because it's a pentominous Fillomino, of course. Numbers on cells with arrows indicate the number of pentominos seen in the direction of the arrow. If a cell has 2 arrows, it indicates the combined amount of pentominos seen in those directions. If a pentomino is seen by 2 arrows coming from the same cell, it is counted as being seen once. Cells with arrows can belong to the same region as a seen pentomino. So if an arrow is in a pentomino, it's okay. So it means that not all arrows are dividers between regions. If the thing is a pentomino, I think is what it's saying. Not all possible arrows are necessarily given, and 2 orthogonally adjacent pentominos must be of different shapes, regardless of rotation and reflection. And so MicroStudy has handily given us an example. The example seems not to feature... Oh, I guess the example can't possibly feature an arrow inside a pentomino because the example grid is small. But you can see, for example, this 3 sees that pentomino and these 2 pentominos over there, for example. There's a little horizontal line connecting these 2, which we will feature as well. Also, MicroStudy has handily given you a picture of what all of the standard pentominos look like, so that you can sort of see what these things are. So no matter how I place it, I can't place 2 of these touching, even if I rotate, reflect, whatever. Okay, so this certainly can't see more than 2 Fillominos in its direction. Or sorry, more than 2 pentominos in its direction. Because there's only 2 cells up there. This certainly can't see more than 2 pentominos because we have all of that. Oh, I can shrink my portrait just a smidge so that you can see a little bit more of the rules. This can be at most 3, and I don't even think it really can be 3 if you think about it. This can certainly be at most 2. Okay, so now... Do you have a good bet tree? Row 12, column 4. You can guess a number, but if it's 5, you have to guess the letter. Those I don't make the rules. Those are just the rules. Okay, so now that I've noticed this cell can only be 1. Because that's not a pentomino. So therefore, this is a 1, and this is a pentomino. This being 3 is no longer possible. This can only be a 1 or a 2. Let's see. This 5 is going to have to go somewhere. This is a 1, so it can get the black pentomino color of shame. Oh, also this is still a Fillomino, so ones still can't touch twos. Or sorry, ones still can't touch ones. So this is a 2. And twos shall be purple. And if this sees 2 Pentominos, that means that that's a 5 and that's a 5, but these 2 5s are different 5s for whatever that is worth. This is a 1 or a 2, depending on whether these are the same or not. But if this 2 went up, that's a problem, because these 2 5s are different 5s. And so if they're different 5s, the absolute maximum, let me go ahead and give them colors. We will give them Rust and Simon's Sweater. Rust can take at most 3 cells this way, so Rust must take 2 cells in this way at a minimum. Simon's Sweater can take at most 2 cells this way, so must take at least 2 cells in this direction. Note, I know it's not taking the arrow because there can't be 5 Pentominos in this direction. Likewise, this can't take that arrow because there can't be 5 Pentominos in that direction. That has bullied this into being a 2. Oops, I've got to now fill that in so we can fill in our border. Okay, and so this cell is also different from that one, and so therefore this is also Rust, unless I'm fitting yet another Pentomino in these cells, but I don't think I am. And so if that's Rust, that's going to force Simon's Sweater to grow over to here at least. This can now only be 1 or 2. This can only be 1 or 2. This just is 2. And so is that shade of purple. Because I'm just counting, it's 2. Let's see. If this is Simon's Sweater, then we have a Pentominous problem. Because if this is Simon's Sweater, then Rust finishes here, and both of them are Ys. So this is not Simon's Sweater, it's Rust. So that finishes Rust. Sometimes known as Rust, sometimes known as Rust Bucket. That makes that a 1. So that gets filled in. Like that. Because it was known to be a 5, and if it was known to be a 5, then was your point it could have been a 1? Uh-oh, it's frozen. Am I dropping frames? I don't appear to be dropping frames. As of this particular moment. Did I invalidly fill in that this was a 5 at some point? No, it needed to be a 5 because of this one. That's why, Selena. Because this arrow forced that to be a 5. Yes, do please like the stream if you have not yet liked the stream. Row 10, column 11. Things are only counting Pentominos, Russ, in this, not all Aminos. So it's only counting the 2 Pentominos. This, by the way, is now a 2, so that's a 2. Like that. Because it sees both of those Pentominos. Okay, this is seeing either 1 or 2 Pentominos. Oh, no, sorry, this sees in that direction. This could see anything. Could even see a boat. Yeah, green is a Pentomino, I agree. It could still be a W or whatever that is. I think it's an N or something. So I don't think I quite know what this is. This is at least a 2, though. And this being at least a 2 is actually kind of tricky. So this being at least a 2, I could have a Pentomino here, and I could have 2 Pentominos there. So this is at most a 3. This can't be a Pentomino, because there's no way it could see 5. So this is only a 2 or a 3. And I think Jay Dyer makes the point that this is exactly the same, because it's seeing exactly the same cells, and it's also not a pentomino, so it's also a 2 or a 3. Thank you, Chip. Yes, we've been slowly settling. There are an increasing number of angles at which you can look at our house where it looks like a house and not a pile of stuff. Oh, spoiler, it's not a 3. It's not a 2. Because of Sudokulology. So it is a 3. Excellent. Good spotting to chat that I put a 3 next to a 3. And so therefore both of these are, all 3 of these are pentominos, and they're all different pentominos. So I don't know a great way to mark that, but these are all different pentominos. This pentomino has to grow. Is there any way that this is a 5? If this were 5, I would need to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pentominos in that direction. That's not going to work because one of those is a 3-omino at least. So that's not part of this pentomino. So there's a border there. And this pentomino grows, which finishes this domino like that. Now remember, this can grow up through the arrow, so it can see itself, weirdly, but we can at least award this a color. It will be Dark Ocean today. Oh, enjoy your dinner, Chip. These 2 digits, this is hilarious. These 2 digits are the same, because I just proved this can't be a pentomino. But if these 2 digits are the same, they must be 3, because what else are they going to be? That's fantastic. Otherwise, this 3 is not going to work. Let us know what you're having for dinner, Chip. That way I can be hungry. So this digit can only be a 1 because it can't be a 2. And so if this 5 is not Simon's sweater... Oh, no. Sorry, this is not how arrows work. Arrows are sums. I will someday learn that arrows are sums. I will never actually learn that arrows are sums. I don't know why that always feels unnatural to me. I know most setters do the arrows being sums version. Let's see. This digit is at most, I don't know, like at most 5 or something. It's not very large, but it's not infinitely small either. Because one of these 2 is a 3. So one of these 2 is a 3, and then it's going to see at most 1 out of these 2, 2, 3, 4. This is at most 4. Blind playthrough of arrows or sums. I know it's not 1 because it already sees 2. For whatever that's worth. Okay. This one sees 1, 2, and it could see 3, 4. So this is 2, 3, 4, I believe. This one sees at most 2 and at least 1. So this one sees the same number. This is the point that Jay Dyer made 17 years ago. These 2 are the same number because this one also sees at most 2. But if that number was 1, that would be 2 monominos touching. So actually, this is a domino. I saw Jay make that logic, but I never got to the point where I was looking at the cells. But that must have been the one that Jay was talking about, which means that this is a pentomino and that's a pentomino. Which is crazy, because this is a pentomino that's seeing 5 pentominos, but one of those pentominos is probably itself. You know how it goes being a pentomino, but this is the famous human flesh pentomino, as we like to say around here. This number is more than 2, so it is 3 or 4, depending on exactly what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there are 5 cells up here only. So all of these are 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're all different. So that's a lot of 5s. Oh, it's not necessarily more than 2. It could be 2. Right, because there don't have to be any ominoes here. There's going to have to be, because there'd be too many. There'd be repeat ominoes if I didn't. Because all of these have to be different. These don't necessarily have to be different. But I can continue to award these colors. There is the Carnival Cake Pentomino, the Hungry Chocolate Pentomino, the cotton candy blue pentomino, and the royal purple pentomino. So this is not 4, because there's not 4 things up there. So it is only 2 or 3. Jay says it can't be 3. Oh, that's fantastic. It can't be 3, because if it was 3, all of these would be 3, and there'd be no room for pentomino butt. So this is a 2. And so this is also therefore a 2 to finish out the 2. And this is therefore a 1 because it's not a pentomino. That's great. Love it. Okay, so let's go back here. That is the 1. This is a 2. So let's see. So these 5s all expand, and we can do some coloring. And probably some more after this, actually. There we go. So purple is going to have to expand again. Cotton candy will have to expand again. Chocolate will have to expand again. This one doesn't necessarily have to expand there. But now this one has to expand again. This one has to expand again. And now this one has to expand again. Oops. And now this is an I, so this can't be an I, and it would be an I if it did that. I is just the name of the pentomino that doesn't do anything. And so this is the lazy pentomino, so this can't be the lazy pentomino, so it has to be an L, which is then going to force this pentomino this away, which is then going to force this pentomino this away. Now that means this has to be human flesh. We have no choice. Human flesh needs to get out. A phrase I did not really intend to be saying on stream, but what can you say? So that's always human flesh, which means that's carnival cake. We are working on my hair, by the way. You're probably going to get to have, because I promised for a stream to dye my hair purple, and then I tried to dye my hair purple, and it came out like the most faint purple ever that you could possibly imagine. So I'm going to dye it purple for real, which means I'm going to bleach it first. So you're probably going to see a stream of me with blonde hair before you see a stream of me with fully purpled hair. So you can enjoy that. Now this would be that one that I kind of hate the letter for. I think it's N. Yeah, it's N. Yeah, So no N-ing for this one. So this one's W-ing. And now that forces this one to be X-ing. So human flesh is X. If you had human flesh is X in the betting pool, you have succeeded. Oops, I deleted it rather than adding to it. We have made a huge mistake. So let us put in some 5s. Now, I do believe MicroStudy confessed to me that they're trying to end their reputation as the big omino person. So it's possible there will be no ominos larger than pentominos in this puzzle. Even though historically MicroStudy has liked ominos to be a minimum of 14 in size. This no longer has the optionality to be 4 because they're... Oh, no, it could. Sorry, it could if that is an omino. Never mind. This needs to be 5, so it's currently seeing 1, 2, or 3, 4, 5, or 6. Okay, so I don't quite know exactly what's happening there. Oh, this can't be 2 anymore because it already sees 3. If it already sees 3, it's not that. Okay. Did interesting things happen to you? Well, you're at most 4 now, and at least 1. I can confirm that. Row 7, column 11, cannot take row 8, column 11. So the problem, if this expands down, it's now a 3. Yes, that's very cool. So Jay Dyer has this beautiful spot. If this omino goes down... Now, it definitionally is a 3, but then it's a 3 touching a 3, and no touchy-touchy. So this 3 or 4 goes here. not there. So now we ask ourselves about this arrow again that needs to see 5. It now sees a maximum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's now maximized. And so we actually need a split there and there and there. And we need to fill in 5s in these, and that means Simon's sweater needs to be an N. This can be a newly acquainted color. Let's see, where were we in our coloring now? Now we're in slightly different color of rust zone. Sorry, slightly different color of rust. Let's see. This already sees 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It does. So this one can't go up because it already sees 5. And this can't be a pentomino now, so it's a 1. Good spotting to chat there. Would have taken me a while to decide that counting that was the thing I wanted to do with my life. So this is a 3 or a 4. Although I probably actually can just count what it is now, huh? 1, 2, 3. It just is a 3. I can just call it good. Now this is this shade of yellow, not the other shade of yellow, which is almost identical. So we can continue with this blue. Sorry, is this blue? I think that's that blue. That blue. So now this is now this shade of green, which is like, we'll say Kelly. Hi, Kelly. So there is that one. Okay, so Kelly is pointing out that there are 5 things up here, and so there's only 3 currently, so there need to be 2 more. So that actually does that. Hey, Steven, how are you doing? So now these need to get pentomino color names. Okay, so we have Sea Mist, I believe. No, sorry, this is Sea Mist. I don't even know what this is. But it's got to get out, whatever it is. And this has to get out. Now, this certainly can't take this cell because it will not see 5 things. Likewise, this can't take that cell because it will not see 5 things. And so, actually, these continue like that. So we've got all of that. Now, this has to continue getting out like that. This does somehow not touch an N yet. Oh, yeah, we know what these arrows are. Good thing that people in chat are paying attention to the things that aren't pentominos. So this is a 3, and this is a 3, and so they're both yellow. They'll be the regular yellow, although later, don't worry, I'll sneak in the imposter yellow and see if anyone notices. Because you can't quite see me doing it. Oh, it is touching a W. Good point, good point. It can't be a W. Yeah, if this site were light blue, it would be touching a W that was even in the same orientation. So we can't do that. So it's got to be the dreaded N. Everyone agrees that this is the worst pentomino, right? I think everyone agrees that this is the worst pentomino. This is the monomino of pentominos. We'll just put it that way. Let's see. So this one... so if this goes here... No, if this goes here, it can be an F. So it's okay if it goes there. If this goes here, then it can be a Z. Wait, does that mean it always goes here? Is it if this is not part of this that it breaks? Yeah, if it's not part of this, it breaks. If this is not, let's just imagine the world where this is not part of this pentomino, then this pentomino grows here. And now the point is it either does that, in which case it's a W, or it does that, in which case it's an N. And in all of those cases, the world breaks. So it is, in fact, it continues there, but it's that blue. So this is a 5. And it can't go here because that would make it an L. So that's never part of that pentomino either. Now, if it did come here, would that be a problem? Because I would need 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd have exactly 5. That would sort of mirror the sort of setting that has been going on in other parts of the grid. So it's maybe possible. Let's see. Oh! This has been available for a long time. This can't go down. So that's a 5. I mean, I've been doing other things, so I'm not going to feel too badly about it. That's also the wrong shade of blue. Who's bothered by the fact that this is the wrong shade of blue? Are you bothered by it now that I have pointed it out? We'll put it there, the right shade of blue. So we could do that. Now Kelly gets to get out now. And Kelly can't be an I. If it went down, Garion, it would be an L touching an L. And now this can't be an I, so now this is an L. This pentomino, what we can say is this pentomino, it's got a type. Its type is L's. So we have here that... looking like that. Okay, this we very nearly know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I guess we know this is a 5, right? Because it doesn't matter what this is going to do. Whatever it does, it's definitely going to get seen by this arrow. There's no universe where it... In fact, actually, this just always takes this exact cell. If this doesn't take this cell, it's a problem. Because it would be at most... Oh, no, maybe it could N its way up there. No, it can't N its way up there because it's touching an N. Great. Okay, so this always touches that cell. Like that. So now I think this does now just C5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this now just is a 5, definitionally. So that's good. Oh, this 3 now escapes. Now I will either put in the same yellow or a different yellow, and we'll see if you can tell me whether those are the same or different yellow. You can test the goodness of your monitor, see if you think those are the same yellow or the... Oh, you're right, it could. Dagnammit, you're right. The 3 could escape into this arrow. Yeah, in which case this would be a 5. It would be really tricky because it would make this a 5, but this probably is a 5 because this is a MicroStudy puzzle. This is now not a 5, though. This is now only 1, 2, 3, or 4. For a certain definition of now. This is 1, 2, 3, or 4. These are 1, 2, or 3 only. Hey, at least I didn't say that's pretty clever for a MicroStudy puzzle, like some of my streamer brethren may have said. Let's see. I'm just marking these because I know they are not pentominos, at least. I'm trying to decide if there's some fancy thing I can do with the fact that one of these is a pentomino, at least. I mean, I know these aren't both 1. But there may be both 2 or something. Good. Okay, good. So this cell is very restricted. It can actually only be a 5. Because if this was more than 5, then it would have to get out, and it can't. So So this has to be a 5 because it does already see 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so, therefore, it can see no more pentominos running up this diagonal. So those are not pentominos. I'm going to just dump some gray in those cells just to remind me that they're not pentominos. And so this is a pentomino, and that's a 1. So we get that, and that is a 5. This, whatever it is not a 1, so it's going to grow the gray over there, which is going to make this a 5 and this a 5. And this is all part of the new 5 omino that has just dropped. Let's see. What color are we on? Have we done this shade of blue yet? I don't think we have one that's that shade of blue yet. Although that looks an awful lot like that shade of blue, but I think it's not the same. Row 4, column 2 is also a 1. That's true. So we've got that going in here. Oh yeah, I could double click to check. Yeah, so my claim was I think this is a different shade than that. Oh, but it's not. Okay, so I really need to Oh, that's human flesh, isn't it? Is this human flesh? Now I'm confused. No, this is not human flesh. Okay, this is where we are. This is our next color of omino. The like not quite human flesh omino. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I think Sven knows that's not what I wanted and is just upset that I'm critiquing the color palette. So that is a 5. This can now only be a 2 because it's not a 1 because it touches a 1, which means that this has to be a new sort of 5, as we say. That will be the title of today's episode, a new sort of 5. So this is like our mint toothpaste. So we've got that coming out, which means these are all 3s, by the way. And 3s we were using a yellow for. I'll let you decide whether it was this yellow or not that we were using previously. So we will do that. It's a 5. This is a 2, by the way, so that is going to be the 2 color, which is that shade of purple. This is the imposter yellow. I'm impressed that people can spot that. I'll replace it with the real yellow. So as not to upset anyone with the nature of the imposter yellow. Whatever this is, it gets out for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and do... I've not yet used this, but I will use it since it was demonstrated that I was supposed to do that in the sample puzzle. So because in the sample puzzle it was demonstrated that I'm supposed to draw lines to indicate that things are connected, I'm going to do that here. Like that. Let's see. So I'm being told this is not 1 or 2. Well, it's definitely not 2, because whichever way the domino grows, it's going to kill this being 2. Oh, and it's not 1, because it already sees 2 things. That's a funny fact. And then it tried to put the 2 back. So this is a 3 or a 4. Oh, and it's not a 4, because this is not a thing. So this is, in fact, is a 3, and this is a 5, and that's a 2. But this is a new kind of 5. Which I think means we're on to this blue. Going up, continuing with mint. So this is that shade of purple, which means that these are both 5s, but they're not the same 5. And if they're not the same 5, that means we've got to continue through the palette. Use the blue. Okay, we're really running out, so we're going to... we've only got one color left. Okay, this is Hunter. Everyone say hi to Hunter. Hunter is a regular around here. So we've got all of that set up. Box in that. Got that. Perhaps someday Hunter and Kelly will meet, but I think it's unlikely that Hunter and Kelly are going to meet in this puzzle. But they might get along well. MicroStudy is a Hunter Kelly shipper. That is great. Wow, DWeb saw that this arrow saw these two, and then mentally merged these two and thought, oh no, this is wrong. And then said that, and I immediately saw it exactly the same way that DWeb did. It's like, oh crap, I threw this up because now this sees 4. But no, these arrows are in separate cells. So I think this is actually right, despite my brief moment of panic. That I had done something untoward. This 5 had better not grow here. Because if this 5 grows here, I need to fit 5 Pentominos in here, and that has become very difficult. So this has become an F, and we're going to need to do some work to figure out what color F it is, because I have no idea. That might be it. I got it right on the first try. I would not have expected that. There are a lot of shades of blue. We'll just put it that way. This is a 1 or a 2. Depending on whether that's a 5 and whether it's the same 5 or a different 5. Oh, Russ maybe has some inside gossip about Hunter and Kelly, but 50 Shades of 5. We'll make that the OnlyFans cut of this episode will be 50 Shades of 5. Now the gray 3 grows down. Do I know the gray 3 doesn't do that? It doesn't need to be gray anymore. It can be yellow. But I think that can also be yellow. Oh, right, it can't do that because, yeah, okay, that's really good. Okay, well done to Selena there. This Omino, if it doesn't take this cell, is broken because it can't do that, and if it does this, it actually breaks that one. That's crazy, so it always goes down. So that makes this a 3. Very nice. This one can't be so large anymore because that's not allowed to be a 5. So it's at most 1, 2, 3, 4. This is now at most 4. So it's not part of a pentomino, at least, which is always a good thing to know. And these two are the same. So this is also 1, 2, 3, or 4. What about this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Darn it, that one still can. Oh, being pointed out, it already sees 3, so it's probably not less than 3. That's fair. Tough, but fair. Let's see. If this cell is not part of this particular Omino, it breaks, funnily enough. Because if this cell now is not part of this, we'll say, bloodish color, then the bloodish color only has 4 cells. So the bloodish color has to grow, which lets us finish Hunter. And having finished Hunter, we can now fill in this cell as a 2. Maroon 5. Maroon 5, very good. These are 5s. One of these two must be maroon, or both. Right. This is now known to be a 2. Carl points out because this sees maroon and Hunter, which means it's at least 2. But if I try and put a new 5 here, I'm going to run into very serious problems very quickly. which is going to get us that there's a separation there. These two are the same color, so they actually join. I just don't know what that color is yet. If row 4, column 6 is not light blue, then the 3 omino can't finish. Right. If this is not light blue is forced to do exactly this, cutting off the 3 omino. Very good. So we can do that. Were we guaranteed the appearance of every one? Was that one of the rules? I don't think we were guaranteed that all of them appear, unfortunately. So now, this can't be an L. So if this doesn't go up, this is now a P, which is, I guess, okay. Okay, this 3 is looking up. This cell is not a new 5. So this sees 1, 2, 3 only if this is a new 5. This is, Ilm pointed this out. So this is a new 5. That is our last 5. So if this is not the last 5 in the puzzle, we've got a problem. So we've got that coming out in that capacity. Now, there's no way that this doesn't make it to this row. So this is certainly not a 1 anymore. It's at least a 2, which means it gets out, whatever it is. It's not a 4 anymore, because if it's a 4, there is not room for 4. Oops. Even 3 seems like it's going to be tight. Yeah, 3 doesn't work either. If there's 3, that means these are each part of a different omino, but then that would trap this omino. So it is actually a 2. So we get that. So there we go. And so these are, sorry, so one of these at least is a 5. Now, I heard an interesting rumor that there's only 10 possible spaces up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ah, yeah, so there's only room for this to be a 1. And as soon as this is a 1, that forces this to be black and this to be mint. Please hold while I find mint. And now all of these need to be 5s, is the point. 2 and 5 are different numbers. But if this was mint, this would be nothing. So this has to be the one that's mint. And so we get our first Y. And our first P has also appeared in the form of this deep blue C omino. So that is a 5. Oh, these two ended up being the same color. Oh, no. So I guess I've got to give this one a black flash, just to differentiate it from the other one that is similar. These two really are different colors, even though they're kind of similar, though. Okay, so yeah, this can't be a V pentomino, and so if it can't be a V, that means it always takes this cell. So this is always part of the of that omino. And now it could become the first T, perhaps. We will see. Oh, right. Gray is not 5. That was the entire point of being gray. So this is a P, thank you, for people for reminding me why that cell was gray. That was the whole point of making it gray, just to indicate that it's boring. So this is yellow, and a 3. So this is not a 3. So this is a 1 or a 2 only. This hopefully... Oh, this I can now count. 1, 2, 3, 4. This now is a 4, and that's a 4. Which makes that a 3. Please tell me my house is not on fire. The rare Zeta wee woo, although we don't quite have wee woos here, but we have wee woo adjacent things. Right, if maroon doesn't come here, maroon becomes the second I. So maroon always comes here. But maroon then has to come here to finish, making maroon a Y. I agree with the assessment of chat. 4 has not been gifted a color yet in this puzzle somehow, but all of these are going to be orange 4s. You're welcome, 4. This arrow I can actually just count. It is 1, 2, 3. This arrow is in fact a 3. And so 3 and 4 are different numbers. 3 does have a color. 3 is the regular yellow. Not the imposter yellow. Let's see, what about this one? Do I know what this one is? 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is at least 4. So this is either 4 or 5. Oh, interesting, Tall Cat. You were randomly deposited back in time. Oh, this can't be 4 because it touches a 4, right? Because this 4 finishes in one of these two cells. I bet that's why this arrow is here, because it touches one of those two cells, and so this can't be 4. And so this is at most 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it can't be 4. So this is 3 or 5. And if it tries to be 3, oh, it's already bigger than 3, right? It's already bigger than 3. So this is, in fact, is a 5. So yeah, so this can be the imposter yellow 5, because we have not yet had an imposter yellow 5. Row 8, column 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is right. This needs to be a 5 of some description in order that this 5 actually get to 5. That's true. Let's see. What are the possibilities for this? It's at most 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is at most 7, I suppose. But is at least something else. It's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's at least 5. So it's not 1, 2, 3, or 4. So this is 5, 6, or 7. Ah, right. This cell is certainly a 1 exactly. Just looking at it. Thank you, chat, for spotting that. That is helpful, probably, which makes this a 5 of some description. But it could be... Can it be this 5? If it's that 5, then this is an I. That doesn't work. So this 5 actually is a new color, because if this 5 comes straight across to this, then that makes this an L, but it touches an L. So this 5 is a new color. So we can make that color... we'll make it Kelly Splash. Kelly Splash Gray. Sorry, that's not Kelly. Let's get the real Kelly. That's Kelly. Oops. That was Simon's sweater, Splash Gray. Let's not get crazy. This is Kelly Splash Gray. Constanza pointing out correctly, this is not a 7, because in order to make that a 7, I made both of these 5s, but that breaks the 4. So this is actually only a 5 or a 6. Oh boy. Okay, so now we've got some real pentominoing happening. This stuff may have gotten a little too real for me. Let's see it. If this is not red, then the thing it's going to do is going to be to take all of those, which is going to force red to be a Y. That doesn't work. So if this cell is not red, let's just imagine hypothetically that it is, I don't know, this shade of green. What is it going to do? Well, it's going to be forced to take those cells, which is then going to force this cell to take those 2 cells, which is then going to force green to be an L, but green touches an L, so it doesn't. So in fact, this cell is that color, and that color is that color. So there we go. So this cell's that color. Now, let's see. So now, oh no, I don't think that did anything. Like I kind of want this to be a P, but who knows? Let's see. Do I know this is not a 5 now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. This can't be 4 now, I'm being told. Right. If this is 4, it's going to break this 3, because this 3 has to take one of these cells. In fact, this 3... Oh, no, right. This 3 needs to take one of these 2 cells. And so neither of these 2 cells... Sorry, one of these 2 cells is not a 5, and therefore this cannot possibly see 4 things anymore. Like that. Agree. Row 9, column 6 is a 5 of some sort, or you trap the orange 4. Right. If this is not a 5, then this 5 is actually forced out through here, which does not work. So this is definitely a 5. We just don't know what kind of 5. In fact, we know it's the same 5 as this 5 even. We just don't, I think, know if that 5 is yellow, or maybe we actually... Do we know it's yellow? If these are not both yellow... No, I don't think we know that. Okay, Selena has spotted a difficult spot in column 13. There's a diagonal arrow. Okay. 1, 2, 3. No. There we go. 1, 2. Aha, yes. One of these is a 3 and one of them is a 5, because I need there to be a 5 down here. So these are a 3-5 pair. For sure. Which now means this isn't a 2, it is a 3. And so it is yellow. Very good spot to Selena. I would have completely forgotten that these arrows here existed for an extended period of time, if you had not pointed that out. And if this was a red 5, it would be counted by that. Right. If this is a red 5, it would only be counted once. So this is, in fact, this is not the 5. So that's a 3. And that's a 5. This is yellow. We can border it on. I can listen to some geese. This can gray its way out into the world. which means that this does see 5 5s along this diagonal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of these are 5s. So that's a lot of 5, if you would believe. Yes, and they're all different. But I'm not prepared to color most of them, at least. Because of the mess that I have in front of me. Oh, row 10, column 3 is being pointed out as interesting. This already sees 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It does. So that means these two are both gray. Just meaning they're not 5s. And so if that's the case, that means that imposter yellow escapes. And now this has become imposter yellow as well. This has become imposter yellow. Oh, do I know that imposter yellow isn't Kelly? I might have I might have screwed up by giving Kelly, or by giving this the color Kelly Gray. I think Kelly Gray might be imposter yellow. I'm sorry, Kelly Gray. I do know, because if this is yellow, now I've got a 5 and a red in here, and they have to exist together in 7 cells. So that's going to require a lot of S cells going on. That doesn't work. So yeah, so Kelly Gray, thank you, Kelly Gray, is genuinely not that cell. So therefore, this is the imposter yellow. And we get this. The traitor is not Kelly Gray. Okay. Kelly Gray was a faithful the whole time. So this cell, Kelly Gray can only touch this diagonal once, though. So that is going to be somewhat interesting, I believe. I do know one of these is a 4. Row 9, column 2 needs to grow down. That's true. And probably is not Kelly Gray. So this one can get its own color. We can make this Rick Blue. So Rick Blue grows down. Now, Rick Blue can't take that cell, remember. Because then this would not see 5 things around the diagonal. This 2, therefore, finishes. And Rick Blue is going to continue growing down again. Like that, which now lets us fill in this cell, because now this is a 3. So we've got that going on. And 3s are real yellow, not imposter yellow. This 3, yes, this 3 needs to grow. So those are both 3s, which then makes the 4 have to grow. So that is a 4, and these are both 3s. So we can fill in those, and then we get to keep coming up with ridiculous names for Pentominous. Oh, sorry, this is now a 2 while I'm at it. I can get rid of the gray. Make it a 2, give it a color. Okay, so Diane Brown is going to come out here. So if Diane Brown comes out here, then Rick Blue needs to go over here. Remember that Diane Brown can't take this cell, because then this would not be a 5. So Diane Brown comes over here. So this is a new Omino. Okay, Rick Blue has finished. Let's not forget about Rick. The yellow 3 needs to grow. So we've got that. I didn't screw up you're right, I did not screw up. I was thinking maybe this could be Kelly, but this can't be Kelly Green. So We're looking carefully now at all of these things and sort of making sure we don't accidentally box in anything. And making sure probably we don't forget about some clues. I'm sure almost that, yes, I'm completely sure that by uniqueness this has to be a 3, right? Because if this were a 1 and if this were a 1, this would be a 3 and we'd have a uniqueness problem, I think. Oh, I guess it could be resolved by there also being a 1 there, but that seems somewhat unlikely. I'm just waiting for someone in chat to have counted the cells and tell me that all of the cells are accounted for by the Pentominos, so I don't have to do it. But there we go. Selena has done the duty, I believe, of doing this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yep. So yes, so there are 4 different 5s, and we know there are 4 different 5s, I believe, because we know that these 3 are different, and they're different from that one. So that is indeed 4 different 5s, and then only room for this little 3 to finish over here. Now, I'm going to fill in 5s in these cells. I'm not going to fill in the 5 in the bet tree, though. So this 5 can only belong to this P pentomino from much earlier, but not that much earlier. From that P pentomino. Now, this is Kelly Gray. Just by the fact that it has to be something. Given... let's see, maybe not quite. So one of these 2 is going to be Kelly Gray. Oh, but this could also be Kelly Gray, because we could have a U like that, maybe. Let's see. So the point is this cell is always Kelly Gray, right? Because if this cell is not Kelly Gray... Oh, no, maybe Kelly Gray could, like, L its way across this whole thing. Maybe. Column 6 and 7 and row 12, column 5 have to be the same. Right. This needs to see 3 more things, which means it needs to see itself. Because it's certainly not seeing that. Right, so this needs to see itself, is the point that Liz has made. And so these are part of the same omino. And therefore, they're not part of Kelly. So therefore, that must be Kelly Gray. Kelly Gray can go here. And so this omino here... So, yeah, that's certainly not Kelly Gray. Oh, does Kelly Gray touch an L? Oh, Kelly Gray can't be an L because it would force Diane Brown to be an L as well, and we can't have 2 L's touching. So yes, so Kelly Gray comes over here. And we have finished and identified that Kelly Gray is a Y. Okay, so Kelly Gray is done. So we need one more. We need one more of these over here. So yeah, so this is going to be... Yeah, I wasn't worried about the Y. I was just trying to figure out what to make this. So This can be Jam Jam Rust. We'll do that. This can't be a Y is the point, because it would be a Y touching a Y. So we know that Jam Jam Rust has to come out here like that, but we can't go there. So we have to do that for Jam Jam. Then, alas, Diane Brown finishes down here. Diane Brown. No, that's not Diane Brown, sorry. We'll fix it. We'll fix it in post. Diane Brown finishes here. Yes, congrats to all the Jam Jam Rust betters. There we go. And so this is a 5, and we can fill it in, and then we have the puzzle solved. Excellent, excellent MicroStudy. I really enjoyed that one. There was a lot of cool stuff in that one, and the ending was indeed quite miraculous to go with it. So yes, so we did that. Are all the 5s orthogonally connected? Let's see. How many? This is the mass of 5s. It looks like they are orthogonally connected to me. This is one of my favorite MicroStudy puzzles, actually. This is very cool. Very, very nice. Time to merge them into a giant 115 Amino. You're not expecting Jam Jam Rust? That's true. I can tell who watches Survivor by who spells Jam Jam correctly. Alrighty, so I am going to take a short moment to take a short break, and then we'll be back with more puzzles. But great puzzle, Micro. I loved that. That was delightful. And you picked some absolutely wonderful characters to appear, I must say. Yes, 5 was the largest Amino, so Micro is really redefining his image in the community with this puzzle. It would be a real surprise if it worked out that there were there was like a 12 Amino in a puzzle with this rule set, wouldn't it? If there'd just been like a single arrow here, I would have just assumed it was going to work out to be a 12, but it did not quite happen that way. In the next episode, Russ has a preview. Excellent, excellent. All right, we will be back in just a moment. Alrighty, welcome back. While we're on doing pentomino puzzles, we might as well do another pentomino puzzle in the bucket. So this is a pentomino star battle. So this is something involving a Pentopia. I will confess I have absolutely no idea what Pentopia is, but who knows? Maybe it will turn out that this is exactly the same rule set as the previous puzzle, but with star battle added. Let's find out. Pentopia means shade some pentominoes of cells so that no two pentominoes touch one another, not even diagonally. No two shaded pentominoes may be the same shape, counting rotations and reflections as the same. Clued cells cannot be shaded and contain arrows indicating all of the orthogonal directions in which a shaded cell appears closest to the clued cell. Oh god. At least one shaded cell must appear in the direction of an arrow. Place stars into some shaded cells such that each row and column contains exactly 2 stars. Stars may not touch one another, may not touch diagonally. And let's see. And so we have an example puzzle, I believe, where we can see it. So we're going to shade some things. Note they don't touch at all. And in this instance, the first shaded cell is 1 cell away in each direction, and this one is 0 cells away in each direction. And in this instance, we have a star in every... We have 1 star, so this is a 1-star battle. We're doing a 2-star battle here, so we need 2 stars in every row and column. There's no rule that like every pentomino has to have 2 stars or anything like that. Okay, well, this is going to be fascinating. I've never done anything remotely like this before, so let's give it a go. So these are all going to be not shaded in order to make this work. Let's see, and we have conveniently been given this. Can we even place stars? We'll use circles as stars. I don't even know what we would bet on. What are we going to bet on? Bet on the pentomino type that is furthest right in row 1. So whatever pentomino is furthest right, just guess what letter it will be. There will need to be at least 1 in row 1 somewhere. Oh, this cell has to be shaded. Let's start that. Because of this arrow. And so this cell is shaded and that cell is shaded. And therefore that is shaded. Is there some completeness of arrows that tells me that this is not a thing? Let's see. Includes bet 9. All the orthogonal directions. Yes, there is a rule that it's all of the orthogonal directions, right? Okay, good. So we've got that. We've got something like this, and stars go in shaded cells. We have to remember that. And we only get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We only get a total of 12 shaded things at most. Can green all neighboring cells that are... Oh, right. So, yeah. So, regardless of this, if either of these was shaded, it's immediately broken. Because if either of these is shaded, then these do not point at the closest cell. Okay, that is cool, and I did not appreciate it. But I now appreciate it. Thank you for giving me some greening, Bence. Much appreciated. Let's see. So there's a bunch of green. Okay, so it's either that these are both shaded or these are both shaded for that one. Because this one doesn't have that far to reach. And it's either that these are both shaded or these are both shaded for this one. Yeah, and these two are both shaded or these two are both shaded. Huh. If this is shaded, it's forced to be either a W or an F. Oh, and right. And if these are shaded, they have to connect because my pentominos are not even allowed to touch diagonally. Yeah, Carl was making a mistake that I think I was also making, which is to assume that this cell's always shaded, because if one of these two is shaded, then that one's shaded just by connectivity. But it could be that the first shaded cell in this one is in this direction, as far as I am able to determine it. Now, these two can't even touch diagonally, and these two are definitely different ominoes. I don't quite know what to do with that. Oh! These can't be gray. If these are gray, let me just put it this way. If these are gray, then, oh wait, no, I was thinking that would force this to be gray, which would force that to be gray, but I think all of that's okay, never mind. It would force these to be gray as well, actually. But I don't think any of that is a problem. But it's nice to note there's some interaction here. So if these are both gray, that's gray, and that's gray, and that's gray. So we get an F if those two are shaded. Okay, what if row 7, column 5 is green? And that's green. Both of these become shaded. That becomes shaded. And now we have two that touch orthogonally. That's it. That's it. Right. Okay, so the point is, if this is green, it forces that to be gray because of through the medium of this arrow, but now I have two pentominos that touch diagonally, which I'm not allowed in this genre. So therefore that is in fact black, and that is in fact black. Now I have to be a little bit careful that these only touch if they're actually the same omino. Let's see, if these are both green, these are also both green. Oh, if these are green, wait, I saw something and now I lost track of. Oh, right. This does not work. If these are both green, I have no idea why my brain didn't see it this way. If these are both green, the problem is this now grows, which now obligates me to make both of these black in order to make this work. But making these both black means I have two that touch diagonally. So they're not both green, they're both gray. Or sorry, they're both black. Yep. This is definitely a, like, as with all pencil puzzles, if it's a brand new genre, then you have to sort of learn all of the visualizing from scratch, which is definitely what is happening to me now. Of course, this really wants to be an F pentomino. Let's see, if these are green and green, What goes wrong? Let's see. Doompiat says these can't both be green. Because if these are both green, then that's green and that's green. And so this will sort of run out and become an L. What's wrong with that? Oh, yeah, the left, sadly, is a problem. It is worth noting, I have to place a total of 20 stars in these 24 cells. So almost every pentomino is going to need almost every pentomino is going to need 2 stars. Because there is no pentomino that can accommodate 3 stars. Sorry, there's one. I can accommodate 3 stars. Oh, no, I can't accommodate 3 stars for a sort of different reason, which is that it would put 3 in a row or column. So yes, no pentomino can accommodate 3 stars. So, V can, right, V can. If they go in exactly those spots. Oh, T can as well. Right. So there are a couple that can sneak there if they get exactly the right way. Okay, so Garian's saying this is always green. If this were gray instead, what happens is that now, because these mismatch, these have to both be gray, and we've now got a pentomino with 6 cells in it. So I agree with Garian, that's always green. So these are always both green or both gray. That arrow sees nothing in row 5. Why couldn't it see something over here? The black L grows and blocks everything to the left. But the L's in row 7, right? So we're examining the world where these are both green. And so in the world where these are both green, this of course comes out like this, which is then going to cause green all around it. And so column 6 would need stars in both of these places. Oh, so that would be green because this is green. And these are, this is maybe the thing that's easiest for me to visualize. Like, I still haven't seen the thing that's up here that's broken at all. But M. Nasty points out this has now created something down here, which I think I could actually visualize back here. That if this becomes an L like this, then it's going to force me to put a square down here. That I can visualize easily in my mind once it's pointed out to me. That if these are green, this of course becomes an L, and that makes it impossible to make either of these cells shaded. So the upshot of this is that these are shaded, and that's going to give me a lot of green territory. Now, I should be trying to remember Star Battle things. I don't think I have a Star Battle thing yet, but I probably will soon. I know one of these is shaded, and one of these is shaded. I know one of these two is shaded. Pentomino dance, right. We've got to let Zach come out and do the F dance. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Zach says he did a variant of the 4 dance because 4 starts with F. Now row 4, column 3 can't be green. If this is green, that's green, which is then going to green all of this. 1, 2, 3. And of course, green that. I don't see the problem in column 2. I've still got 2 cells up there and 2 cells down there that could be black, right? Why do I green the top as well? This arrow doesn't point in that direction. Oh, right. It's because they're nearer. Right. Okay, that's the thing I keep forgetting about. Is that, yeah, if these aren't shaded, that also greens those, which will also green those, and then that's the point, right? These point to the closest one, and so if the closest one ends up being 4 away or 5 away, it means those aren't either. Because the arrow should be pointing that way. So what happens, just to walk you through this, because this is really hard for me to see, if this is green, both of these are green, so that's green, but now the nearest one it could possibly be is 5 away, which would be here. Except that now means because this arrow points at the closest one, those are also green. But now within this column, I need to fit 2 stars, but I can't because those are the only 2 cells left. So these are... Yeah, so this ended up being a sort of star battle-y deduction. So those are both black. And we need to make sure we don't make another F. Yeah, now if this is green, this becomes a Z. If this is black, I need to keep these 2 apart. So, but this still has a little bit of optionality, it looks like to me. We have weird things like if this is black, it forces these 2 to be black, which forces that one to be black, which forces that to be black, and then I have to keep these apart, so that has to be black. And again, I have to keep them apart, so that has to be black. So if this cell is black, all of this is forced to be shaded by some string of weird logic involving Pentopia. But that doesn't... See, Carl asks if this is a problem if this is black for row 1, column 1. If this is black, it's going to put out an enormous amount of green. Because if this is black, Now we know that this cell is green no matter what, because it's never part of this pentomino, and it's always going to touch this pentomino diagonally. And that's going to then make all of this stuff green. That's also going to be green. But it looks to me like we could just now shade both of those. Is that going to be a problem? I don't see it immediately. Row 9, column 5, and row 10, column 8 be different pentominos and still have all pentominos have different shapes. I feel like I could do like a P and oh, it's because it's bullying this one too, isn't it? Yeah. Right. There we go. That it would have to look like that. You know, it'd have to be, I think it would have to be that probably. It's a good point. This is much more restricted than I thought it was going to be when I tried to draw it in. Uh, uh, hmm. What is it I am meant to see? These are both green. These are both black, which makes that black. Yeah, and then we end up in the same sort of string I think we were looking at before. Actually, maybe I wasn't looking at this one before. Okay, I want to look at these both being green and what that does to the world. Maybe it doesn't do. Maybe it doesn't immediately force that to be black, like I was thinking. Oh no, I think it was these two being green I was looking at. If these two are both green, now these two are both black, which makes that black, which gives me a whole mess of green around this omino, which of course greens these and greens. And now this does not work because that is one of these is now green and one of them is black. That's a bit of a messy look ahead. If I know what I'm looking for, I can see it in my head. Of if these are both green, then it's going to force both of these to be black, which is going to force this to be a Z, which is going to force this cell to be unshaded while that cell is shaded. But it's a little tricky to see without knowing the thing I'm trying to break. So that forces this to be green because I have to keep these apart. Let's see. Okay, so these now certainly can't both be shaded because it's going to break in a bajillion ways. Both Jay Dyer and Ilm point out. And if that's the case, then this cell is green automatically because of this march. So probably both of these are shaded, but it could even be both of those. I can't do another F, so it can't be these. That is too far. Now, I do need to have two pentominos hit row 1. whatever this is, it's going to hit row 1, but I need another Pentomino over here by Star Battle stuff, because this is not putting enough in row 1 to hide all the stars. So is there something like, does that mean this cell has to be black? Yeah, the first is in column 2 or 3. Right. One of these two has to be shaded now for Star Battle reasons, which means one of these two is shaded, which lets me get Carl's point now that this is always black. Because even if this was the one that was black, it would force that one to be black anyway. Okay, good. So we've got all of that as well. Now this is green because I've got to keep these apart in order that that works. So let us see. My phone buzzed at me. Was it anything important? Oh, no, it is nothing important. I see. My phone now buzzes at me when people come to the door. Yes. Now if this is black, it becomes impossible to finish this. So this is green. One of these two at least is always black. So therefore this is green. If this is unshaded, I force this to be an F, and I already have an F, so this is always shaded. Which is a funny deduction. At least one of these is shaded, if not both. But interestingly, if I want to get a star in row 2 out of this omino, I have to put an omino over here. Sorry, I have to shade that. Yes, if this is green, it forces this to be an F pentomino. That's true. So that is like that. I agree. So this is P or T. This is P or W. So it's either that these are both green or these are both black by this clue. But I don't see an immediate problem with that. So one of these two is a star by the row, and one of these two is a star by the column, Selena points out, which is very nice, which tells me that this is, in fact, a star. Very cool. And so, yeah, and I know one of these two is a star for sure. I can start marking off, I suppose, relevant stuff I know is not stars, like these are not stars. Which means I'm going to have to work awfully hard to get 2 stars into column 2, doesn't it? This is the star for column 4, is a good point from Doomed Yacht. So these are not stars. One of these two is definitely the star for this column. The other star for this column, which means that's definitely not a star. And that's not a star either. So I do need a star up in one of these 3 for this column, because that's never going to be a star. Oh, that's always going to be a star, right? I think that's always going to be a star. Let's go through this again carefully, because I need a star down here for the column, which means this is never a star. Whether it's green or gray, it doesn't matter. So now, up here... Oh, I could have 2 stars up here, couldn't I? I could have 2 stars, but either way, that's never a star. Is the point there, I believe. It's not quite as dramatic. I was hoping to say that had to be a star, but I don't think I quite get to say that. disappointingly. Yeah, one of these two is a star, so that's never a star. Yeah, due to the row 1, a couple people in chat were also seeing that. Let us see. Oh, right. Okay, Meti has a good spot. We were debating whether this was an L or not. It's definitely not an L anymore because there's a star in one of these two cells. So these can't connect. And so if those can't connect, this just can't be gray. Because if this is black, now there's no place to put a pentomino. So that makes this green, which makes this black. If this is black, there's no way to finish this pentomino, so that's green, so that's black. It can't touch diagonally, Doomed Yacht. It would still touch diagonally if that were to work. And so now these have to get separated, which forces this up like this. Now if this is black, now I get two eyes. Oh, sorry, no, that's not quite true. This just is green, and that is black. Is the correct way to say that. And so now I need this to be black, because if it's not black, then I'm going to get an eye. And so that's black because it's a pentomino. So these are green. Hello, honey.
Hello, how are you?
These are black. I'm good.
Hello, chat.
And once those are black, that's black by the Pentopia clue. And there's a negative constraint on P's, right? So this is already a P, and so neither of these things is allowed to be a P. So that one's a W, and that one's a T. So we have all of that.
Hi, Jim and Carl and Russ and Amy.
So we've got all of that. Row 10, column 6 must be a star now. Right, in column 6, we actually have the stars completely forced. Those are both stars. Thank you, chat. Oh, row 3, column 8 is green. That's a good point. So oh no, not necessarily one of those is a star. Ah, right. This is no longer able to be a star due to that. And so those are both stars. Glorious. Good spotting from Ambrose there. Yeah, column 9 needs 2 stars, and I know where they go. That's awesome. So those are both stars. So these are both black. If this is green... Oh, no, that could be green if it's a U. Row 1, column 8 clue is handy, yes. So 3 is the closest, so that's also the closest. Now this can't be a U. So now if this is a green, now we create an omino that is too big. So that's definitely black. And now I need to not repeat any ominoes. So that's green, or I'd repeat T. That's green, or I'd repeat F. That's green, or it would be an N, and I don't like N. Let's see. So there definitely are some stars in here. Let's see. I will return in a second to the Pentominous star counting business. Ah, right. That's not a star anymore because of the fact that it touches stars. And so now in row 3, if I look at it, oops, now that is a star, which means that's not, which means that is. Also in column 7, I guess this could be a star in column 7. So I don't quite know what's going on in column 7 yet. Oh, actually... Oh, yeah, I guess we've got some sort of tension here between which of these is the star and how that's worked. Yeah, the column 8 and column 7 stars are connected. So, yeah, if I make this a star, none of those can be stars. And so I would be forced to make that a star... And that's it, because this rules out those being stars, right? So this just can't be a star, because I would have one place to put 2 stars. So this is not a star, and therefore that is, which forces that this is our L that can hold 3 stars, as noted during earlier discussions. So that means this is not a star for sure, because it's got 2 stars in the row already. Oh, this is a star because just the column thing. There. Row 5 needs an extra star, so that's going to have to be black. Several people in chat are pointing out. Don't make an F, so we make a Z instead. This is good advice for life in general. So that's not a star, so that is. And now that's not a star, so that is. So that's not a star. So let's see. What shape can I possibly make over here? Yeah, I have to make either a U or a P, but U is the only one I can possibly make because I've already made a P. Just because it has to fit in this 2x3. That's cool. So, in fact, it's a forced U that looks like this. So that finishes our shading. I know that these aren't stars, but these are. So that's a star by the row, so that's not. That's not by the column. That's not by the row. That's not by the row. This row needs 2 of them. So that's not by the column. That's not by the column. And I think we're done, hopefully. 2 in that row, 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 2, 2, 2. Okay. I think with that, we have completed the Pentopia Star Battle. Very nice puzzle, Bence, as always. I've been enjoying the series of pencil puzzle Star Battle hybrids. I mean, I suppose Star Battle is a type of pencil puzzle, but very, very neat. And yeah, the thing that I was observing that it's really hard to fit 3 of these into a pentomino ended up being relevant because we needed actually to fit 3 and 2 of them because it actually, I was thinking like there's a maximum of 12 you could put out. But actually there's no way you could fit anywhere near 12 pentominos into this grid. Yeah, I'm really uncertain if you could even fit a 10th pentomino into the grid. Maybe if you chose very efficiently. Yes, I have greatly enjoyed today's stream, David. So I'm glad you have enjoyed it as well. Let me go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll do a 6x6. So I will see you all for a 6x6 or 2 in just a moment. Alrighty, welcome back. I see there have been many lovely 6x6s added that reference my dislike of monominos. So I will assuredly do some of those soon. But for now, let's do this double arrow puzzle. So I've often thought about, but I don't think I ever have made a double arrow where all the things sort of end up like this. So the sum of the digits in the circles at the end gives you the sum of the digits on the line. So if this is a 4, what it means is these 3 digits sum to 8 because it's 4 plus 4. The first thing I see is that these ones, well, this one at least, this can't be a 3 because these sum to at least 6, but if they sum to 6, you can't use a 3 here. So this is 4, 5, or 6. If this is a 6, these would have to sum to 12. I guess I could do that as 3, 4, 5 exactly, somewhat annoyingly. These, because of this given 1, the minimum sum of these two is 5, which means actually the sum of these is at least 6 because it's even, which means that those are from 3, 4, 5, 6. Likewise, the minimum here, same idea. This one could be 1, 2, 3 with this being 3, but that's certainly the minimum. Now, I think I know this digit's odd because I know the sum of these digits is even and I know the sum of these digits is even. So this is a 1, 3, or 5. I could probably play that trick somewhere else, maybe? Right. So, right, this is a weird, like, even though I can repeat digits in the sum, there's no way to make this actually work with this as a 3, as Ambrose's point. Because if this is a 3, I need these 3 to add to 3. They can't be 2, 2, and 2. So they'd have to be 1, 2, and 3, except that all of them would see the 3. So this is always at least 4. It's a good spot. So if I think about what I get if I sum the entirety of a double arrow, I get the 2 circles and the line. That gives me an even thing. Right, row 3. Row 3 is where I did it. So I did it in the column, but let's also do it in the row. These have an even sum, these have an even sum, so therefore this is odd, and therefore it's a 5. Okay, there we go. So that does something for us. So these need to sum to 10. This is definitely not 6, SPQ points out, because if this were a 6, I would be saying these two add to 12. That's definitely not happening. The entire thing is 4 times the circle, right, Selena? I think it's 4 times the circle, not 3 times the circle. Because, like, if this was a 3, the entire thing would sum to 12. So in row 3, sum to 16. Right, so these two need to add to 8, is the point, because the entire row sums to 21, so these sum to 16, and so therefore these two things sum to 8, and so this is never a 5. So this is never a 4, and this is always a 2 or a 3. 2 sounds bad. but I think it just works. Right. It is 3 times because I was counting the circle twice. It is 3 times. Yep. So now that I understand this, let's do this. So if the circle is x, this is x plus x. X plus x plus x is a multiple of 3. And so Selena's claim is that these all sum to a multiple of 3, but these also sum to a multiple of 3, and therefore this is a multiple of 3. If this was a 6, the maximum of these would not work. It's too small, is what Chad is pointing out, which I really like. If this is a 6, these see 5 and 6, and so they'd maximize at 2, 3, 4, which is nowhere near double 6. So this is, in fact, a 5, and that's a 3. Oh, it would break. Yeah, if this was a 2, it would break the 1, 3 there. That is a very elegant way to do it. That did not involve noticing the 5 and 6. But it's 10 without a 5 that could have a repeat digit. Oh, I guess it can't have a repeat digit anymore because this 3 or 6 is the only digit that could repeat, and this digit can't be a 3 or a 6. Well, if this is a 6, that digit can't be a 6. So there is no repeating digit here. And so that means we can sort of think about the way that we're doing a 3-cell 5 sum. And so this is now like a killer calculator 10 in 3. If it didn't have a 1, it would have to be 2, 3, 5. So it definitely has a 1. And so now the 1 is there, and so these need to sum to 9, and that is a 3 or a 6. So this is a 3 or a 6, but actually it's a 6, and that's a 3. The 3 double arrow is easier. It has to be 2, 4, because it can't be 1, 5. That's true as well. So these numbers are the rest of them. They are not 2 or 4. They are 1, 3, 6, of course. These are 2 or 4. See, these are a pair, which is going to tell me what that is if Mark is kind. So those add to 6. So that tells me that's a 3. So these are the rest of them. So they're not 2 or 4. 1, 5, or 6. Well, that one's not a 1. Oh, so these sum to something huge. It's not a 6 either, actually. This is a 5. Okay, that's huge. Because now these need to sum to 10, so they can only do that as a 4, 6 pair. And I know the order even of the 4, 6, which also tells me the order of the 2 and the 4. And now I almost know what these digits are, more or less. They are from 1, 3, 5. So if this is a 4, it would be 1, 2, 5. If this is a 6, it just doesn't work. If this is a 6, I'd need these to sum to 12, which would mean I need these to sum to 10. I could only do that as double 5, which does not work. So this is a 4. I need these to sum to 6, which they have to do as 1, 5 in not that order, in that order. I was showing you why it didn't work in the other order, we'll say. Of course, it was a very important instructive portion. So that is a 2 and a 6 and a 5 and a 3 and a 4. So let us hack up these cells. So that is a 3 and a 5. 3 certainly doesn't go with 2. That's not odd. Or sorry, that's not even. So 3 goes with 1, making that a 2. 6 and a 2 and a 6 and a 1. Very nice, Kuraban. I enjoyed that one. We may have over-fancified part of it, but it was cool to do anyway. Alrighty. Let's do one more 6x6. Let's see. I saw a region sublines with a mineral name. So let's try and do this region sublines with a mineral name. So here we have region sum lines and anti-knight. Oh, Lord. I didn't see the anti-knight. I might not have picked it if I saw that. So the way region sum lines work is that they say the sum of these 2 digits is equal to the sum of these 3 digits, and the sum of this 1 digit is equal to the sum of these 2 digits. So we have a parity thing again. These have an even sum because it's the same sum. And so therefore this is odd. So it's 1, 3, or 5. And so this is 1, 3, or 5. Oops, or 1, 3, or 5. Now, how shall... So there are no digits in common with these two. Which is interesting. There are no digits in common with these. I certainly know that these are each at least 3. Do I just immediately know where this 1, 3, 5 goes in this box? Not quite. Is one of these obviously impossible? I don't think so. Let's see. 5 would mean the sum is 16, which would mean these would be 2, 6. No, that sounds okay. Let's see. If this were 3, these would have to be 1, 2. I'm trying to see where the anti-knight thing is coming in here. I have not yet understood the significance of the fact that this puzzle is anti-knight. I guess the question maybe is, where does this digit go in this box? Is this digit forced to be that digit? Is that somehow the question? Is there some, like, anti-knight geometry trick that, like, if these two are the same digit, they get ruled out of box 5 or something? Okay, there we go. Okay, so there's a good spot by Carl. If this is a 1, these need to add to 10, so they're 4, 6. If this is a 5... Sorry, no, if this is a 3... these need to add to 9, and so they're 4, 5. And so there's always a 4, and these have no repeat digits. So therefore, one of these is always a 5. And so the one that's a 5... the sum is 8, and so there's a 2, 6. And then so one of these is a 2, 6. And then the other one, so then the other one can't be a 1 because it would be 4, 6. Okay, so got it. So no 1. So one of them is 2, 6. That's the one that corresponds to the 5. And the one that corresponds to the 3 is 16 minus 3. Sorry. Yeah. No, sorry. 21 minus 3 is 18. Sums to 9. It's 4, 5. So one is 2, 6. One is 4, 5. And the 5s aren't here because they would see the 5 by anti-knight. So one of these is also a 5. Which means that one of these two is a 5. For whatever that is worth. Oh, it's not that one, because that sees both of those. So we get our first digit as that 5. Woohoo 5. It's 2, 6, and 4, 5 are the two things that happen over there. The 4 is not in column 4 because the 5 is in column 4 in that pairing. That's true. So yeah, so one of these two is a 4. That is true. And so the 6 in column 5. Oh, no, the 6 in column 5 could go up there, darn it. Certainly doesn't go there, though. Right, this sees... this cell sees one of those 4s. If this is a 6, the only way I could possibly be making 6s is 2, 4, right? Because I can't be using a 5, so I'd have to be making 6s 2, 4. But 2, 4 breaks 2, 6, and 4, 5, so this just can't be a 6. Because it would break both of the possible sums that could go in the box. So this is only a 3 or a 5. And 5 in column 3 is in one of these 2 cells now, just by anti-knight. I was trying to decide if one of the ways of making 5 broke both of these. So if this is a 5, then, and this is 2, 3, then it breaks the 2, 6 combination. So it'd have to be 4, 5. But then that would go with a 3. So 2, 3 would never work. So it'd have to be 1, 4. And 1, 4. Let's see. 5 going with 1, 4 would make this 2, 6, and 3. That sounds okay. Okay, people are saying to look at 5 in column 2. It's not there, it's not there, it's not there. It's never there. So the 5 is either at the top or at the bottom. And if this is 5, I need to also think about 5 in column 3. 5 in column 3 can't go in one of these, so it's going in one of these 3, but if I make that a 5, I rule it out of all of them. So in fact, that's the 5 down there. Sure. Someone said 5, 1, 4 breaks row 3, column 6. So if this is a 5 with a 1 and a 4, then what is this cell? 5, 1, 4 would make this 2, 6. And so could not be 5, 1, 4, 2, 6. What digit is left? Or 3, because of that. Yeah, 5, 1, 4 doesn't work. So that's insane. But yes, this being a 5 doesn't work. Because if it's a 5, this digit becomes a naked single nothing. So this is, in fact, a 3. So these are a 1, 2 pair. So that means these are a 4, 5 pair. Which means that's a 3, and that's a 5. These are a 2, 6 pair. Corner 4, corner there. 5 and 4. That's not a 3 anymore. The 2 down here is definitely in one of these 2 cells. That's a 6. Making that a 2 and a 6. Making that a 1 and a 2. Making that a 2. Good. Oops. Ah! All right. Somehow I accidentally hit the print screen button. I never used to do that, but somehow now I do that all the time. So if this is a 4, these would have to be a 1, 3. The 1 would have to go there, and the 3 would have to go there. Or if this is a 6, it's just not possible because we've broken both ways to make 6. So this is always a 4. These are a 1, 3, and I know the order. And now I can select the whole grid and mark. And so we can make that a 4, a 1, a 3, a 4, a 6, a 2, a 6, a 2, a 1, a 6, a 1, a 3, a 4, a 4, a 5, a 5, a 6, a 2, a 1, and a 3. Nice. The grid is quite striking. Like, the fact that this is just 4 horizontal lines that each have 2 pairs of shapes is crazy. So quite a discovery for Jay there. A very intricate solve path as well. Yes. Alrighty. Well, let's wrap up stream there for today. Thank you so much for everyone for joining us, especially for the beginning of the soap opera. Jam Jam Rust will return, fear not. But for now, I'd just like to thank everyone for hanging out, and thank everyone who supports the stream. If you'd like to support the stream, you can do so by liking the stream, first of all, and also by clicking join down below to become a member, in which case you can support us for as little as $5 a month. Or you can click the Ko-fi link. Oh, there's no longer a Ko-fi link. Well, you can find the Ko-fi link somewhere. We'll figure out exactly what happened to that. If you want to make a one-time donation, just message either of us. And also, thank you to everyone who supports at the turbine level. So those are David, Nordy, Franco, Woofer, DDX, Daniel, Willie, Danita, and Nico. New turbine. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. And Carl gets to go have a look at address book. So Carl continuing to steamroll through my puzzles. So good luck with address book. Thank you to everyone for all the puzzles. Great to see, great fun, and I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.